They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, Sarge?
So what happened about yesterday, man? I didn't even know it was Wednesday. We went to Thursday immediately.
I because of the election on Tuesday, I stayed up to like 3:45, and then the next morning, my wife woke me up like 2 hours later, and she's like, "Oh, he's not going to school today." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then he was home, and then I thought it was like a different day. And then when I was done with the stream, I was like, "Oh yeah," I even said it in the morning stream. I was like, "Oh, we're shooting the shit with Sarge tonight." Blah blah blah. And then that night, I was like, "I'm playing Planet Coaster 2." And then I didn't even think about it until this morning, and I was just like, "Well, that's weird." So I completely, I screwed up.
I just thought you were burnt out, man. I'm not mad. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So. What's going on, chat? Those of you that are not familiar with Generation X Gaming is a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. We're live here Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30 NSG. We also are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. I'm a little behind on uploading the ones that were on Spotify, but you can also listen to us and watch us over on Spotify. What's going on, chat? As Travis submits a question, let's put that there at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to ask a question, please use the Q before your question, and we'll answer it near the end of the show. But if you would like to do a super chat, we'll answer it obviously throughout the show, like way before the end of the show. So we appreciate you very much for doing that. So we mark your questions in the chat, and then we'll put them at the Q&A part of the show. So what's going on, Sarge? Episode 417. We're in November, baby. It's like Halloween happened. It's already...
When Halloween happens, that's the starting gun for the holidays.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Happy Halloween, Christmas, boom, go. You're like running, Black Friday's coming. Like, yeah, everyone's running for this.
I don't even think they put the Halloween stuff on sale. I think Halloween happens, and then as soon as November 1st, they just throw it all in the trash, and they just put the Christmas stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah, Krebsy, the system, we figured it out. My son taught me this morning on how to shut off the power system in the sandbox.
I was watching you do Planet Coaster, and I was getting mad. I was like, he can't hook up power? What? Like an hour I heard you talking about that crap. Like, you can't hook up. First of all, why does every ride have power?
We'll talk about it when we get to what we've been playing. Yeah, I'm a little upset with the game, but I settled down a little bit. I went back to the game today, played a little bit. Yeah, but it's rough.
I typed. I don't know if you saw the word I typed. I'm like, that's just padding the game. They're just trying to make it. They're just trying to make it annoying. They're just trying to pad the game. Oh, we have new advancements in our intuitiveness for a Planet Coaster game. We're gonna put your power plants down. You have to figure out how to do power. Like,
right?
Can I just play the game? I'm playing Sim City now. I got to worry about power. Do I got to worry about plumbing and toilets too? What do I got to do here?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. On today's show, we're going to be talking about what we've been playing. We're also going to be talking about Remedy has recouped most of its development costs. We're going to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance. They hit a milestone for that game. We're going to talk about BioWare devs said that maybe 20 people left in the studio. So it's going to be really hard to remaster something with the old stuff. We're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws reveals 3 areas of focus that they're going to make or fix. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers a lot today. We're talking about Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in production. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers itself. They're in trouble, Sarge. Again,
who's in trouble?
With multiverses and what they're focusing on. We're also going to talk about Nintendo a little bit. We're going to talk about Grand Theft Auto a little bit. And if we have time, we'll get to other stories like Take-Two, Foxhole, PlayStation 5, well, they had a test. PlayStation 5 Pro losing. All right. So, but stuff like that is happening on today's show. So if you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5.
It's too funny to say it during the intro.
That's true.
You gotta let that stuff go. Gotta let it stew.
All right, so let's do the first thing of the day, which is what we've been playing. Watch out, chat. If you're wearing earphones, here's your test. It's loud. It's loud. And that music, it just pumps me up. It's just really loud in your ear and makes you want to, just makes you want to
punch the wall,
jump up and get down. So what have you been playing, Sarge? Another week?
Nobody's interested in what I'm playing. This is around the time of year.
Do you want me to just talk about Planet Coaster for the next hour?
Because it's Veterans Day, right? So I always play the World War II stuff like late October, November because of Veterans Day. I get involved in it. But I did play something board game.
You played a board game? I wish I had people to play board games with.
So there are games that you buy, and then there are games that people make the additions for.
Right.
So this company made a box to hold all the expansions for a game if you happen to get it, because they don't make a box, right?
Do you have to get a wide angle lens for this?
So this is the box.
What is that?
Right, this is the box.
What is that?
Right, it's terraforming Mars.
Okay. Well, I can read.
It's not made by Elon Musk. Elon Musk had nothing to do with it. Right? So there's little artwork. There's little artwork on there.
That's a big ass box. I know this because your head's really big, and that box is way bigger than your head. Yeah,
not bigger than my ego though. So this, right, is a game that's competitively played.
Okay.
On the same level as like Catan is.
Okay.
Right. So the real nerd people kind of play this. So I bought the basic version, and then I started playing it. I played the version. It's online. You can play it online.
What's the basic version compared to what the deluxe edition?
Well, as you can see, there's no picture on the back because this is somebody made this.
Okay. Well,
you understand what
someone always made everything?
No. What I'm saying is this is not made by the company that made the game.
Oh,
some individual
is a fan of the game and then made
this beautiful box.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and it holds all the expansion packs and everything for the game.
Okay.
Right now, what I found interesting was like there's another party that makes like individual like plastic pieces for the game, and so instead of having like a token that says first player, they have like the Mars rover. An actual Mars rover as the first player thing for no reason, just for shits and giggles. And they actually made a tray that holds that thing that some other guy made. Like, so think about the community involved with this.
Is that the board game or just a box that the board game goes in?
Everything I have is in here, but this
is
just a box.
Okay. So someone created the box put the stuff in.
Okay. Look, I gotta. Otherwise, you're not.
I'm just trying to understand what you're showing me here.
Okay, so the original game comes with cardboard cutouts of the pieces for the game. Okay.
Well,
I love that noise.
That's a fart sound.
Right. So it perfectly fits in here. Here's the catch: the guys don't like cardboard.
Okay.
Right? So instead of cardboard, they made actual individual plastic pieces that represent everything in the game.
So what are they, like 3D printed stuff?
Well, if it's 3D printed,
is it like a resin?
It's the best 3D printer I've seen. It
could be a resin. It could be.
I don't think it's 3D printed. I think actually these guys molded something.
Okay. Well, right? if it's a resin 3D printer, then it would look just
like.
But
I don't see the lines. I don't see nothing.
You wouldn't see lines. Yeah, you wouldn't see the lines.
So it comes with all the actual pieces that are plastic.
Okay.
Right. And so everything fits in the box.
Now I have a question. How much does a board game? How much does that board game cost? What's the retail price of that?
The board game, just the basic board game?
The basic board game, yeah.
The basic board game I think now you can get for $45.
Okay. And then how much is like the deluxe or whatever edition? Because when I go look at board games, they're up there, man. They're up on like 70, 80, 90.
Everything's up. That's how it works. Everything's up. A board game when we were kids is $20.
Yeah.
An adult board game was 40. Now everything's like 80 to 100, which is double.
80 to 100. Yeah.
Which is everything else is doubled. So it fits right in.
Yeah.
So anyway, as you might know, it's a game. You can actually play it online. You can actually go download it for like $12 or $15 on Steam. They sell Terraforming Mars, and then you can buy the expansions if you want to buy the expansions on your PC. And you can play against the computer, or you can play against people online, right? But that's the actual board game version. So the board game version with the box and all the plastic pieces was like, it's only like $150. I got it for it was on sale, so it's like $100, right? So I just like it. It's one of those engine builders. It's an engine builder game. It's a limited amount of time. You only have so much time, and the game ends. It's not like Monopoly, one of those games that goes on forever. You got a limited amount of time, and it's out.
Tupla says, "What's an adult board game? A porn board game? No, that's not what that means.
That's not what that means. It's not. I don't think it's on console yet, but you can get it on PC. Alter.
Yeah, Duplex, an adult board game just means that because all board games have age ranges on the box, right? So like it'll tell you like 9 and under or 10 and above or whatever. It gives you. When it becomes too much strategy or too much stuff, it's more of an adult game, right?
Yeah, it just means it's more complicated.
Yeah, more complicated.
Yeah, that's all it means.
Yeah.
So of course,
it's not
besides
like
that,
ladders, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So besides that, I've been held let loose in Company of Heroes. I told you it's a World War II kick for like this last couple of weeks.
I'm on a kick of TCG Card Shop Simulator. I like that game a lot.
Why do you have 2 doors, and why does one of them lead directly into the storage room? Why does your layout look like that?
Well, that's like that. That's how they have the game set up. So one of my pet peeves with the game is that I wish you could set up the store how you wanted, like the basic of the store. And I think they're going to have different layouts, but that room is closed off in the very beginning. You only have your shop, so you have to pay $5,000 to open that door, and then you can use that as your shop. So if you wanted to, you could use that as your shop because that expands as well. Okay, that expands as well as a store. So you could have that as your front store, like where all the cards and stuff are, and then you could have the tables in the other section of the other store. You could do what you want with it. So you could close off that door where nobody else can come through that door. So it's just more of a, but it is kind of weird the way you're looking at it because
and your
like,
employee,
why is this?
Your employee sucks.
Oh, that Zachary! Don't make fun of Zachary. Zachary's a hardworking boy, Sarge. I mean, he's stoned out of his mind.
He's the definition of molasses in January, bro. He moves so slow.
He's moving. We put 12 boxes on the ground. It took him a whole day to do it. He does 1 box an hour basically, but he's only getting paid $50. So that's his motivation. Yeah, a day. Yeah, 12-hour shift, $50. That's why he moves that slow. Yeah. It's but the game itself is fun, right? So it's hard to explain. I'm trying to do in my shop. I have 3 shops going on. The one I played on stream live, the live stream is my biggest shop. I'm like level, I think 34, 35. I'm like 65 days into the thing, like day 65. I'm trying to get everything in the shop, like everything that you can buy. I want like at least one section of that stuff as I expand the store. That's what I'm trying to do. Where my other store, I'm doing nothing but just cards and tables. Okay. So, and then my other one's like I'm just experimenting with stuff and trying to see what sells more and what not. But the game itself is really fun, and I like how they're adding stuff. They're going to be able to put cards where the customers come in. They can grade their cards that they have. Like we'll grade cards, so you charge a fee for that. You can trade cards with the actual characters that are going to be coming in. There's going to be more decorations, more things they could put in the game. They have like a list of things that they're doing. It's still in early access, so it's a lot of fun. So I've been playing that. You look like you have a question. What's your question?
But why do you want all that shit? Why do you want that? Why do you want all that inventory? Why don't you just hunker down and find the stuff that moves quick and get them in and out? Because the game renders people. It's all about efficiency. Get them in and get them out, so new people spawn for the day. You know what I mean?
They changed it on the last patch. So before, what you're saying is get them in, get them out. But now what they've done, if you put the tables there, because the tables were kind of like pointless. People were like, "There's no reason to put tables." But now, because the tables are there, people come in to play the game, and then once they're done playing the game, or before they go play, they'll buy cards, they'll go buy stuff, right? So it's almost like they're playing with their friend, they got their ass beat, and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go buy some more decks, and they get up and they go buy decks. So the tables are there.
But they're there for too long.
Well, no, sometimes they're there for like an hour, sometimes they're there for longer, but you charge them for how long they're staying there.
I get it, but what I'm talking about is a guy that walks in, buys, and walks out, and another guy spawns. If you got people sitting down,
that's not how that works.
Less guys spawning. We get these people in and out.
No, the more product you have in your store, the more people spawn to come in, right? So I've had
that's a lie.
I have all my tables full at one point, and there were still people just piling in. Right, so it all depends on what you have, and sometimes you have to look at your reviews, which they're fixing. They're going to look at the reviews, and that's going to dictate a lot of stuff what people want. And then there's people that come in the store and they're like, "Oh, this is a good price," or it'll say above their head, they're like, "Oh, he doesn't have this, and I don't have it in the store yet." And I'm like, "Oh, someone's asking for it, so maybe I should unlock it." And then you put that in the store, and then more people come and buy that.
Yeah, but you can't listen to every hoo-ha
no, of
that
course
asks,
not.
I want this. And one guy makes you spend $50,000 to get a purple teddy bear that only he wants.
Well, my what I'm trying to do, I'm making my own goal. I want to sell everything that's on the list in the store. That's my goal for that playthrough. So, store expand big enough, have shelves for at least one of everything in the shop. That's what I'm trying to do.
Then you look like a garage sale, basically.
Sure, I'll look like a actual shop. It's amazing. Like when you go to a board game store or a comic book store, they have hundreds and hundreds.
Do you sell board games too?
Yeah, there's board games. There's board games. There's comic books. There's figurines.
So you're the guy from The Simpsons? Is that it? You're the
what I would really like, and it's down the road, they're going to add them. I would love to just have a whole comic book section, or just a whole, instead of like 5 books, I want like multiple things. So that's one of the games I'm playing, and then I'm playing Planet Coaster, which I only have about 4.5, 5 hours in.
I wouldn't say you're playing it.
I wasn't playing. Yesterday I was suffering. My son even asked me, he's like, what did you build? I went, I didn't really do much of anything yesterday. I was like, I wasted a lot of time because of the control scheme and stuff. So before I even started streaming yesterday, I was like, I turned it on. I was messing around with it in the tutorial, and I was like, this controller it's awful. It's awful. Okay.
So wait a minute, it's on console?
It's on console and PC. I bought it on console because my son wanted to play it, and if I get it for PC, he can't play it, right? So I bought it for console, so it's game share. So I have it on my system, and he can play it now. So he's been playing it. He's playing it right now.
So did it come out recently?
It came out yesterday.
On console?
It came out yesterday everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. Planet Coaster 2 everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, on console. Yep. And on PC.
I got to look at Steam. Hang on.
Right. So it's $50 on console. I think it's $50 on Steam, and there's a deluxe edition which is like $60 or whatever. Right. So I was like, before I started the stream, I was like, can I hook up a keyboard and mouse to it? And I was like, I can. So that's what I did. I put a keyboard and mouse, hooked it up to it, but I haven't played in such a long time. I didn't know the keys, right? So I'm doing the mouse and keyboard, and I can move, and it feels nice to move, and I can just move the mouse cursor over the stuff and do the thing. But the problem with the controller, it's 15 steps to do one thing, okay? So if I want to get to the facility, I got to start hitting LB, okay, to go through the tabs. And then once I go through the tabs, then I have to hit A, and then it opens up another thing. Then I have to hit the D-pad down to the next thing, and then the D-pad over to move it over to the next thing. Then hit A, and then go over to the next thing, and then find the thing, and then click that. And it's or with the mouse, you just take the cursor and fucking go over the thing, click, 3 steps, right? Move mouse, click, done. But with the controller, you're going through a whole process of clicking, which I don't understand because they could use the right analog stick. So I don't know if this makes sense to you, Sarge, but when you're playing on a mouse, okay, I move the mouse, it moves the screen, right? It moves the cursor. If I hold the right mouse button down while the pointer's going out, it'll move like the camera or whatnot, right? If I want to hold the left button and right button at the same time, then I can rotate the screen, okay? So now, if I map these to the controller, where it'd be right bumper or right trigger or left button, left trigger, so now the mouse would be, this mouse moving would be the right analog stick on the controller, right? And then the right trigger or right bumper would be the right button on the mouse, so I could turn and pivot and stuff. But it doesn't do that. It's not what it is, okay? You hit the right bumper and stuff, and obviously I haven't looked at the mapping, so I know someone's going to be like, well, did you try to map the stuff? The point is, it's so convoluted and it's so hard on the controller to do anything, because your head's like, oh, I want to hit B for back, but B is not for back. It's something else. If I want to go to the camera...
You have to retrain yourself.
Right, you're retraining your whole thing for it. Now, my son's picking it up pretty fast because I'm old. He's young, whatever. Yep. But he's like, yeah, it is a little hard, okay? But he goes, once you get used to it, it's fine, okay? But I'm like, I'm just trying to do stuff. So if you're building a park, if two people were building a park, day one, one's playing on PC, one's playing on console, it would take you 3 times longer to do anything in console than it is on PC. Okay, so I'm glad that it's on console. And again, I only have about 4 hours in, and now I know more about it a little bit more. So next time I stream it, it'll be a little bit more smoother and whatnot. But the attention to detail of taking your mouse and clicking on a tree or planting a tree or a rock and being fine-tuning stuff is so much easier. On console, it's like someone's just like you're broad brush across the thing. You can't fine-tune anything because fine-tuning, I gotta hit A, then I gotta hit the right analog or the right D-pad to get to the thing, then I go down on the thing, and it's like it's so hard.
So when are we gonna allow mouse and keyboard on the Xbox?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. You can do mouse and keyboard on the Xbox. So I plugged in a mouse and keyboard, and now I'm playing with mouse and keyboard. It's so much easier, but it's still I couldn't figure out like what rotation was, and then Kylo came in and said use Z, use X, and I was like oh my god, this is night and day. Like it feels so much better, right? So I'm really glad that it's full capability of the keyboard and mouse on Xbox, right? Do not try to use a controller on that game. It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Well, I looked at the videos. It's really ambitious. Like the kind of rides and stuff you can make now is incredible compared to because I've seen once again all of them. Right. Remember Theme Park by Bullfrog?
Yeah, I just brought it up this morning. Yeah.
Right. I played Theme Park from Bullfrog, and we thought that was amazing. Right.
And every time remember how late we would stay up to play that fucking thing? My God, we lost weeks of sleep.
Yeah, we'd stay up all night playing Theme Park. And then Roller Coaster Tycoon came out, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
that was
amazing.
Park.
Yeah.
And we're like, they can't get better than this.
Then Roller Coaster 2, then Roller Coaster 3. Yeah.
Well, then Roller Coaster 3 I don't know what happened. It lost something.
They added water parks. No, they added Roller Coaster 2 and 3 had like water parks and different things.
But Planet Coaster did to park games what City Skylines did to Sim City. Like it just came out and just trumped it. Just came out and just we know what's going on. We're gonna do everything better, and it looks amazing. And now because of all the theming you can do, you can spend hours in that game.
Yeah. So if you look up, we've done this a couple years ago. There's a I forget the YouTube channel's name, but he goes and just reviews parks that people create in Planet Coaster. And I played Planet Coaster originally the first time in 2016 at TwitchCon when I went to TwitchCon, and I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I can't wait for this to come out. And I love Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster 2, I think it's going to be a better game overall, right? They've done a lot of good things. I was so frustrated. I wasn't ready to play it on stream, I'll be honest with you. Like I was more trying to finick with stuff than actually playing the actual game. So now let's talk about the game itself, right? So this is a cool feature. It's a cool feature. You can have a franchise mode. And in that franchise mode, I can start a world, my business, my world, my park. And I can invite anyone. I can keep it open to anybody else that wants to come, and they can build the park with me, right? So you can build the park with me. The chat can come into my park, and we can work together to build the park. So
that sounds wrong already. Go ahead.
Well, you're working it, and then there's leaderboards. So like your company versus so if I had 30 NSG versus Sarge Inc., okay, like you have your theme park, you have 5 people helping you, and I have 5 people helping me, and there's like a leaderboard we're competing, like we're theme parks competing against each other. So it's pretty interesting that way. I would like to do some sort of community stuff with that where multiple people are working on stuff. So what I think is cool that I could just fine tune and work on, like if someone's putting the rides down, I go and just do the scenery and stuff. You know what I mean? Like go fine tune, make it look nice and pretty, work on the paths and stuff like that. So it's interesting that way. One of the things I don't like about
what's the ride situation
right now, there's just a lot of fucking teacup rides. Okay, because you have to go do research.
Like total rides. Like, is there a lot of rides in this game?
I don't know exactly. We were going through the sandbox yesterday, and there's a lot of roller coasters. There's flat rides. There's, I want to say, maybe like 30 flat rides. There's like 30 roller coasters. There's like water slides and monorails and trains and go-kart track, and which they had in the other game as well. So there's a lot of stuff. I think it would be interesting if they added something, and maybe someone will, if they added like a hotel, like where you can build a hotel in your park where people can come and stay at your park. You know what I'm saying? Like they stay at the hotel and then they can go into the park and stuff like that, like Universal's doing and like Disney does and stuff like that, like Dollywood does and stuff like that.
So what kind of themes do they have in the game?
The ones I saw so far, there's pirate theme, Viking theme, Greek themed, tropical theme.
Are there DLCs?
There's already a huge. The game came out yesterday, Sarge, and inside the workshop where people make stuff, there's already hundreds of items that people have already created. Okay, so I'm sure DLCs. There's a deluxe edition with other themes and stuff already that you can pay for. Like I paid $50 for the base game, but you could pay like 60 or 70 for the more thematic stuff.
Do you remember in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, people would actually put in real theme parks into Roller Coaster Tycoon 2? Is that going on inside Planet Coaster as well?
Well, Planet Coaster, you could download the whole entire park of like Disney World and Epcot and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Can you actually download parks that actually exist in the world?
Yeah, people have made the parks and some their renditions of it and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about this one yet. If it's out there, I'm sure that it would. I might pick this game up again, and I might pick it up on PC just because.
Black Friday's coming up, bro.
Yeah, it's just
like Black Friday. Black Friday is literally around the corner.
So I was playing through the campaign yesterday on stream, and I was frustrated because I'm fixing the park that they're telling me to, and they're like, "Oh, your thing needs power," and I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, a power station. I put the power station, and I'm like, okay. So it does a radius thing, right? So you don't have to like hook up everything, but it does like a radius. But you have to have a power generator, and then you have to have a power distributor, right? And when the power distributor, once you connect the generator to the power distributor, then the distributor makes the circle around the area that keeps power. But every time I went to another ride, they're like, you have to put a power thing, and I was like, oh God, I was like, I really don't want to do this. I was like, I don't remember that in Planet Coaster 1. I don't believe so.
It wasn't there. It was just have fun with rides.
Yeah, and I think you can shut it off. I don't know if you can shut it off in the campaign mode, but you can shut it off in the sandbox mode and stuff like that. So I got to go back into the settings and see if I can change where the power stuff.
The next thing you're going to be telling me is you have to go to the city and get work permits before you can build a roller coaster. Like this doesn't sound fun anymore. It sounds like it's too much realism inside this fun.
You can have a schedule for each of your employees in the park. And like break schedule, and you have to have people to cover the shift. Otherwise, the ride doesn't have anyone attending it for like an hour. Okay, so it's like all of this stuff is happening. I'm just like, there's a lot to the game.
Stressed with scheduling. I just want to build a park.
Yeah. So you just play sandbox. You play sandbox.
Are there people in the amusement park business looking for employees? And this is like a resume. If you can survive this game, you can work for my park. Like, what are we doing? I thought it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, well, sandbox.
How is it fun if I got to worry about scheduling?
Well, the sandbox mode, you can make it where you can shut that stuff off. I found out today, where my son told me this morning, you can shut off the power, you can shut off the rides breaking down, you can shut off shut off all that stuff. So,
are the mechanics still the same? Where the people are not like just groups of singles, where it looks like there's families now, and there's couples, and then there's singles. Because I remember Roller Coaster Tycoon and all, they just did like single people. And then Planet Coaster, I remember them saying something about where there are groups of people now. So sometimes your people are by themselves, sometimes there's twos, and then there's a family that walks around. So it's like it's more realistic,
right?
Do they have that? Do they have that in this one?
I believe so.
Or you don't know because you never got people to walk into.
I don't know personally, but it wasn't Planet Coaster 1, so I would assume it's in Planet Coaster 2. Right?
You could literally get people to walk into your park. What was up with that?
Oh.
How come nobody's walking into the park?
I have no idea. So the franchise mode, when we were trying to get people to come in the park, no one would walk through the gate, and I was like, "What's wrong with it?" So I told my son this morning. I was like, "No one would come to my park." He's like, "Well, what kind of ground did you have?" I said, "I had the one that was there. It was like already there when I got there." He's like, "Did it have the bars on the side?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah, you don't want that." I was like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Yeah, he's like, you had the wrong walkway." I said, "I didn't put it down. It was already there. It was already there." And then I deleted it and then put another one, and they still wouldn't walk through it.
So the starting level they give you, people don't even like to walk into your park.
I don't know what was up with it. I still haven't figured it out. I haven't gone back. I stopped playing last night, and I was like, I went to the settings today to mess with it. So
what did you do for 4 hours?
I bitched a lot. Yeah.
So you couldn't even get someone to actually walk into the park?
So first I started off playing the campaign mode, and then I was like, I don't want to play this. I said, let's go see what the franchise mode is. And then I went to go look at the franchise mode. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with the franchise mode. Let's go look at the sandbox mode. So yeah, for 4 hours yesterday, I was just bouncing around showing what was in the game. because I was frustrated with, oh, here's another thing that happened. Okay, so I'm trying to put a ride down, and but the rocks stayed there, right? The rocks and trees, so they're coming through the ride. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work. So I delete the ride, right? And I'm like, okay, so let me click on the rock. I click on the rock, it won't let me delete the rock. And I'm like, well, why can't I delete the rock? Right? So there's rocks you can delete and there's rocks you can't delete. There's trees you can delete, but there's trees you can't delete. And I'm like, why can't I delete this? I was like, why won't it let me delete this? So I couldn't put stuff there, and if I did, it would just come through.
You have to work around. You have to work around what's there.
Yeah, I guess, right? And then the sidewalk stuff is very complicated, especially on the controller, right? Trying to figure out what the shape of the size and how long it goes and where it moves and what it does and how the rotation of it is.
I'm getting a headache listening to you.
Yeah, it was.
Why are they sucking the fun out of a fun game?
I think I'm going to chalk it up as user error yesterday until I get to know what I'm doing, and then we'll see. So I won't give it harsh judgment, but I was pretty upset yesterday after I got off. I was like, that was so frustrating. I was so frustrated after I played that last night.
That makes no sense. What kind of game do you want where you're more frustrated after you stop playing?
I wanted to go play SnowRunners to take me down from the stress, right? And SnowRunners is like the Dark Souls of driving games, and that's more relaxing than when I was playing yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing. I played a little bit of Towerborn. They updated a couple things from the last patch. What else did I play? I played a game yesterday for a couple of minutes. Actually, it was about 20 minutes. It's called Bright Shore. Okay, let me see if I can bring it up for this. Bright Shore. Bright Shore is the same guy who created RuneScape. Okay. So this is a new MMO that's coming out. Okay. Let me see if I can get the gameplay here. It just came out yesterday. It's free to play. You can try it out. It's in early access right now. I just need to So it's a point and click. It's a point and click. Yeah. Okay. Here it is. I'm hitting the wrong fucking button. Here you go. All right. And add to stage. Okay, so it's a point and click game. The graphics are not the greatest or whatever, but it's just like RuneScape. But it's an MMO. It's something that you're going to be grinding. And what I didn't play too much. It's not a real time strategy game. I know it looks like it because of the blocks, the tiles that it has. But it's just a point and click. So you could literally play it with like one hand on the mouse clicker and move across.
No.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's the same people that created RuneScape. I'm sure this is going to be a big success.
I like RuneScape. I play a lot of RuneScape.
I'm sure this is going to be a big success from the people that like RuneScape and love RuneScape. I played RuneScape for 3 years. I really liked it, but I just moved on. So I'm going to try this more. It seems fun. Like I said, I'm in the first area, like where you're training.
I need more games that just they're just done. You play and you finish them and you move on. I can't have a bunch of games that go on forever in my library.
Right. Well, that's how I am. I play a game, beat the story, and then put it down.
We need more games like that.
Yeah, that's what I said a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I think I'm okay with an 8 to 15 hour game, 20 the most.
See, I think we've reached the point now where they should actually go backwards a little bit and make you want to play a game more. And I'll explain to you what I mean. Like if you did a game. Let's say I'll just use Witcher as the example, right? So I play Witcher 3, right? I level up my guy. I spec out how I want. I make him look at the way I want, and then I complete the game, and the game is over. And I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time because I love to play the game, but now I'm done with it, right? Now they just shut up about Witcher. No one talks about Witcher. But then like maybe 2 or 3 years later, or 4 years later, another Witcher game comes out, but now I get to bring the Witcher that I had from there over into the new game. Right, I think we're at the point now where
like
whatever
Mass Effect, you want Mass Effect, like
whatever game we're playing, if it's a franchise or whatever, and then they're gonna make a sequel, then you can actually take the character that you played before and you can bring it into the new game instead of having to start over completely and make it like an ongoing storyline about your particular character.
Right.
Like they did it in Mass Effect.
You want the more you want the more time invested. Like,
well, what I'm saying is you make me miss the game. And then when you bring it back, I get to relive it by continuing the story with the guy that I made. I think we've reached the point where that would make people want to hang on to their stuff, hang on to the character, and then like give me a new story to put my character in.
Well, that's what you were doing in Division 2. Every time they added DLC.
Kinda.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that if they want to add, sort of like with Hogwarts Legacy, they're adding more content. They're adding 10 to 15 hours. So they're going to be adding more content to that. This is what I said for Gotham Knights as well. It's like Gotham Knights would have been cool if they just added more content, more stories, more things.
Like, instead of trying to make me stay, like, because here's how I look at it. They're bloated and they're spending way too much money trying to make a game that they want you to play forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So instead of forever being right then and there forever, make it forever, but we space it out between the titles of the game, but you still get to bring your own guy with you.
Well, right. Well, that's what Destiny did. That's what Destiny did.
It would be the same thing, except that I wouldn't have to feel like I have to play the game actually forever.
Right. You don't want to play forever. You just want to play, beat the game, come back, continue your character,
continue my guy.
Yeah, I understand that.
You don't want to keep. You don't want to. That's where we're going. No,
you don't want to grind in between waiting for the next DLC. You just want to play the game, put it down, play the game, put it down.
Yeah. I think they're going to start going that way because they can't keep up. They can't keep up the finances for what they're wanting to do. Just not working.
Yeah. All right. So that's the things that we've been playing. Let's go to top stories. To wake people up, Sarge. It's to wake people up. Like right now, someone was dozing off, and they're like, "What
I had flashbacks of like clubs I used to go
club?
to.
Yeah, you just hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. It does help us out. Small channel. The likes do help us tremendously. Is that what I don't know? Really big. It helps us. It's huge. It helps us out.
Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
So let's go with the first story, Sarge. First story is.
Or bigly.
The first story we got is Remedy has recouped most of the development and marketing expenses for Alan Wake 2. It says that Alan Wake 2 continues its success for Remedy, but the company is reporting today, because it had its financials, whatever, is recouped at most of the development and marketing costs of Alan Wake 2 by the end of September. So it's been almost a year, if not a year.
Most means over 50%.
Right,
most. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, right. And so that's why it's a little bit, not telling the truth here. Obviously, they didn't make their money back. It's a year. Now, obviously, most sales happen, 90% of the sales happen the first week or month. You know what I mean? Like they make most of their sales in that first week to month. The first 4 weeks of the lifespan is where they make 90% of the sales. So obviously they now have physical copies that came out as well. This is going to be a struggle. I don't think they're going to make it. I'll be honest with you over time, because they could tell you that they sold a certain amount of millions of copies, but at the same time, it gets cheaper and cheaper as the longer it stays out. You see what I'm saying? So something that was $70 and now it's selling at $50 or $40 or $30, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we sold 1 million copies," but the 1 million copies wasn't at $70 anymore. It was at.
But that's the. I don't want to go down the wrong rabbit hole here. But that's
I don't have that, guys. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But that's why that type of game having that type of issue falls into the realm of why Game Pass or subscription services would work for them, right?
Right.
Because if they know they're bleeding and they know they can't get people to buy it anymore, instead of lowering the price, you work out a deal with whatever subscription service you're doing with, and they give you a chunk of money up front, and they see how many people play it or not.
Right. Jason says the Epic Store exclusive didn't help. Yeah. Look, they're gonna learn real fast in the new market that exclusives for one console to the other or whatever it is, they need to put that game out as many places as possible to make the most money possible instead of exclusive here and then making the money across the board. Right.
Yeah, that's gonna be an issue for sure. All right, we listen. It's not hard to tell now that gaming companies are bloated. They all believe they can make a live action service game that's going to rake in millions and millions of dollars, and they're all wrong because nobody's playing these games for that long. There's too many games to play, right? They've got to scale back. They got to get rid of some people. There's going to be more firings. They got to streamline. They got to pick a game, make a game, and sell a game. They can't make everything live service. It's just not working, man. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's Bright Shore, Brain. If you can't read the chat real fast and you're still, yeah, it's Bright. It's called Bright Shore. It's free to play. It's on Steam right now. It came out yesterday. The other story I want to talk about, Sarge, is Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test debuts to almost 500,000 concurrent players on Steam. Did you play the beta at all, Sarge, or no?
I did not.
I forgot to talk about this in the what I played. That was the other game I was thinking of. Monster Hunter Wilds. I played the beta. I played it for last Friday. I thought it was great. I really did. I thought it was.
So what kind of graphics from what game?
It looks like Monster Hunter Worlds, but a little bit of upgraded graphics. It's got this like grittiness to it, the way it looks. Actually, I can bring it up. Let me go to my channel and bring it up. I really liked it. I thought the game mechanics and what you were doing, it was a beta. It was a really small beta, so you really couldn't do much. You beat it in like 30 minutes, whatever, for the actual what you were doing. Let me bring it up. Where is it? Man, it's like a. All right. Sorry, chat. All right, so it's got like a little grittiness to it. The characters, models, and everything look good. I know it was bad on PC. They were getting pixelated stuff or whatnot. But yeah, I'm running around with a giant saxophone in this particular set.
Why are you having a giant saxophone?
I was just trying out different weapons. Supposedly it's more like a healer type of thing, but it was funny. So I was using the glaive. I used the hammer. I used the
chocobo. Are you on a chocobo?
I forget what the thing's called. It's not a chocobo, but it's like a raptor mixed with like a chicken type of thing. So let me fast forward to. I had another weapon.
Is it nighttime?
Yeah, it does day-night cycles, and like weather effects happen. Like sandstorms come in, lightning comes in, different things happen. I played, I think it was like 4 or 5 different enemies, different types of monsters, like big monsters to fight. I thought it was really fun, man. I see myself picking this game up in February when it comes out.
How are the boss patterns? Are they good?
Yeah, fighting them, it just feels just as good as it did during Worlds. If remember the last one we played, we didn't like it too much.
There was something about it didn't click.
Yeah, it was just off, right? This feels like this is the same company that made Worlds, by the way. This is not a different company. So this is the same people that made Worlds. It just feels good. Everything about it. So the mount that you get on, you can just call it. It comes and picks you up automatically. Okay. You can hit the left trigger or left analog, push it in. It'll automatically follow where the waypoint is. So it's like auto play for a little bit. You can fight off of your mount. You can jump off your mount and attack. You can have the 2 weapons switch out. You can have, but you have to switch it out while you're on the mount, right? So while you're on your mount, you'll switch out weapons. So you have to call them back in so you can choose what you want. At least that's the way I had to do it. I couldn't figure out how to. Every time I tried to switch weapons, it would call the mount in. And I was like, why is it doing that? And someone's like, oh, you have to switch it on the mount. I was like, okay. The gameplay itself, the only thing I didn't like was obviously it's a timer, right? So you'll see the little timer up in the upper right-hand corner. You see it looks like a compass up there. That's the timer for the hunt. So obviously, remember in Hunter Worlds, I'm sorry, when you were where you fight a guy and gets injured, then he runs away like Dauntless and everything. They like run away.
But if you don't catch up in time,
right? There's the traps. There's the traps that you can do to slow them down and whatnot, like the sleeping or the traps. So you can do that as well to do more damage. So that always annoyed me because like you're beating them, you're doing a lot of damage, and all of a sudden it starts to run away, and you're like and then it'll go back and try to sleep, and you wake it up and stuff like that. But the weapons felt good. The movement felt good. The mount felt good. The environment felt good. Everything about this game. This could be a huge success when it comes out in February. As long
it's supposed to come out in February.
February 28th. Yeah.
If this come out in February, then Assassin's Creed is gonna have to move.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed's moving. I guarantee it's moving. It's coming out the 14th, but it's still I think not going to land in February. This is going to be a huge as long as it comes out stable, right? As long as it comes out and it doesn't have it's not broke, buggy, unfinished. If it comes out and it works. This is going to be a huge success for them. The beta had, 500,000 people. That was just on Steam, by the way.
Are you fighting with AI or other people?
That's AI. You can call in, and then other people can come in and help you, right? Or it's just AI. AI comes in and helps you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that monster. I really had a good time with Worlds. Worlds is a fun game. The grind didn't feel groundy. The combat was good. The boss mechanics were good. It was. I think it was the best mix of old school and new school. Like you had to memorize how the monster fought. Like you'd always die in the beginning because if you weren't privy to the actual game and how it is played, you get killed. But then you learn the boss, you learn what it is, and then you learn the weaknesses, and then when you make other weapons, you come back and know to put this weapon on for this guy and know how to beat him, right? So as you were playing the grind, you were having a better sense of accomplishment when you were killing the bosses.
Here, I'm gonna show you this boss. This is a giant dragon with lightning. Okay, this was pretty cool, right? So he was the last boss you had to beat during and his ability, and there was like a storm that came in, and there's like lightning shooting down, and he does this little wing slash on the ground.
Yeah, you gotta use dragon. You gotta use Dragon Ren. Just bring him down, make him stay on the ground.
Yeah. And then I was using the gun lance where I was just, it's the machine gun. And then you had this thing.
It's a machine gun?
Yeah. So it was a machine gun. And then you plant a bomb in the ground. And that's what you see exploding right there. Yeah. It's fun, man. This is going to be a fun game to play with friends.
Is it still 4-player? Is it 4-player? Or more than 4?
I don't know if it's 4-player. It might be 3-player, 4-player. I'm not sure, chat. Do you guys know if it's 4-player or 3-player? Because I know it was you plus 2 other NPCs. So I don't know if it's 4 players. It might be 3. It could be 6. I don't even know. Travis says 4. Yeah, so good time. So they had
on PC or on console.
It's going to be everywhere. I played it on console, but it was on PC as well and PlayStation.
I'll keep my eye on it for February.
Yeah, February end of February, February 28th. So Monster Hunter Wilds, and again, so this is what I find funny, right? People say like Veilguard. Super successful. It's got so many people playing it. Meanwhile, Steam had 87 or 89,000 people, which is nothing to shake at, right? But when you look at that and say 89,000, and then you look at, remember, people said that 330,000 for Starfield was terrible, right? But then 89,000 for Dragon Age is huge. And it's like, but then you look at
based on what just
metrics? What people talk about, just what people say, like when they look at Steam, they're like, oh, 330,000 for Starfield's terrible, but 89 for Veilguard is amazing. Meanwhile, Monster Hunter Wild comes in as a beta, okay, which is a free beta that you could try out, okay? 500,000 people, 500,000 people basically come out for that game, okay? Which, let's just put it into perspective again. Concord had a free beta weekend, and they got a total of, I think, 2,300 people, right? So you know that a game is good because you can feel the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to a concert or go to a movie, you're like, you can just feel the energy of a game is good.
Well, we used to before the people telling us what's right, what's wrong.
Right. You could take the thermometer and be like, yeah, no, this game is hot, right? This game is going to be good. And I just think it's funny when someone says, oh, well, 330,000, that's terrible. It's like, there's 330,000 people. Just play on that. Now, obviously, I don't know what played on console and whatnot, but just look at the Steam numbers. When someone says this number's bad, even though it's a giant number, and then this number's not as big as this one, they're like, this is amazing. It's like, that's a AAA game. This is a AAA game. This is a brand new IP. This is a well-known IP. It's the 4th edition. It's not doing very well, right? So we got that down. We got Remedy down. Here's another one. Perfect example of things doing well. Okay, so Kingdom Come Deliverance has sold 8 million copies. Okay, 8 million copies. Now the game came out 7 years ago, Sarge. And when I was doing research on this, I was like, okay, well these guys came out and they're excited. They said that they passed a milestone. They sold 8 million copies, and while they had the 8 million copies, they sold 6 million copies in February this year. Okay, so this year in February.
Wait. Total 6 million, or total. They sold 6 million in?
No, total. Okay. This game's not a big. I mean, it's a small franchise, right?
No, I get it.
It came out 7 years ago, so they sold about 1 million copies a year, basically.
Well, okay. But they're not at full
1.2.
It's not at full price though.
No, but listen to me. Hold on. So 8 million, and they're excited about this. They put it out there and said, hey, we sold 8 million. It's very, very good for the company. For it's not a big studio or whatnot. So They sold 8 million copies. They sold 6 million in February, and they sold 8 million by this time this year, right? So they sold 2 million just this year.
Copies this year?
Yeah, just this year they sold 2 million copies.
What happened?
It was probably on sale or whatever, and they put out more out there. Okay,
2 million is a lot after 7 years, bro.
Well, they could be like $20, whatever it is, right? So because the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is coming out next year. So a lot of people probably are like, oh, let me play the first one before we get to the second one, right?
Yeah, but still, if you have to fathom that a game is 7 years old. I mean, I keep track of a lot of stuff, but what happened this year that all of a sudden 2 million people wanted to buy this game? That's a lot of people for a 7-year-old game to come out of nowhere.
I don't know that reason, but so here's what I want to say about this, though, right? So this game was a niche game, a niche market, whatever. It sold 300 on Steam. Their numbers, okay, were 96,000 concurrent players when this game came out 7 years ago. Okay, this is not a AAA game. Okay, this is it's a small niche game. 96,000 people played it. Okay, for that game, that's very good. And they said, because they came out with their numbers, and they said that we sold 300,000 units in the first 2 days. Okay, or the first 2 weeks, I think it was. And in the first year, it sold 2 million copies for the first year. Okay. So the Steam number...
That's good for them. Okay.
Yeah, so the Steam number for them with the 96,000, I said, oh, this will be a good thing. It's a single-player game. Okay, it's an open-world game, right? It's an adventure type of thing. I was like, that's 96,000. I said, let me compare this to Dragon Age Veilguard. Okay, well, Veilguard came out. It has about 89,000. So it's about 7,000 to 8,000 difference between these two. Okay. Now, the difference is they're not sharing their numbers for Veilguard. They just tell you that, oh, the marketing of it, the reporters out there are saying, oh, it's very popular and, suck it, right? And everyone's like, well, it's not really that popular for a Dragon Age game. Because Kingdom Come Deliverance, they had the numbers, and they said, well, we had 96,000 concurrent, and we sold 300,000 units. So we went, okay, well, let's use that as a comparison, right? Now, obviously, it's not going to be a 1-to-1 ratio, but if their number is 96,000 on Steam for concurrent, but they only sold 300,000 in that time frame of when it was at the peak of 96,000. And then you look at what is happening with Veilguard, it's less than that. It's less by 8 to 9,000 than Kingdom Come Deliverance. And Kingdom Come Deliverance said they only have 300,000 people bought it. So we're looking at less than what they've actually said for Veilguard, and we'll get that to in a second. But yeah, so congratulations to Kingdom Come Deliverance for hitting 8 million in 7 years, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is coming out, I believe, in 2025, early, I think, next year. I think it comes out in like February or March, I think it comes out, but I'm not too sure. Krebsy says it's Dragon Age only in name. Sure, but when people are delusional and say, well, it's really good for the game, it's not. It's really not good for Dragon Age in this day and age for the fourth game in the franchise. So let me bring up. There was a report, and I got to find it now. I thought I saved it, but I didn't, so I got to find it. So, have you ever played Kingdom Come Deliverance? I played about 3 hours of it and never really got back into it.
I'm trying to remember. I try a lot of stuff. Can you have any game footage of it?
Yeah, I can bring it up in a second. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find,
because I'm trying to think. The name sounds familiar, and I've played so many games over the years. It sounds so familiar to me. I'm probably getting confused with another game. I'm not putting anything past them. I'm just saying that to sell 2 million copies after 7 years, that's a large group of people waiting for a sale number to hit for you to buy the game. I'm just saying there might have been some type of advertisement. There might have been some kind of crossover promotion.
It's because the new game's coming out next year. I would say it's that. It's on sale. It's probably a bunch of different things. So this is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Right. It almost looks like the game that you're playing, Medieval Dynasty.
Medieval Dynasty.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like that. Yeah, it's an open world. Graphics were great. I mean, for then, right?
What was the premise? I can't remember the premise. What was the premise?
I don't know. I haven't played enough of it. I'll be honest with you.
Don't remember.
Kingdom Come Deliverance also launches in February, so good luck against the Wilds. Well, again, this is a small niche game. You know what I'm saying?
Why is February such a dumping ground for everything?
I think it's because it's like after the holidays and people just want to be first out of the gate.
Is it the last month of the fiscal quarter?
It is fiscal year for the year.
Fiscal year. Okay. Because otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It just sounds weird to me why everything's just jammed into February.
Yeah, they all get it. They try to get it out before the end of the year so they can. Because I think March 1st is the first one. That's why Wilds is coming out like February 28th. It's like the last day of the stuff. All right, let me bring this up. Now, it's coming. Now, I watched Ginger Prime's video on our stream the other day. Right, he was breaking down what the Veilguard numbers, basically based off of the numbers they gave us of 96,000, or I'm sorry, 89,000 or whatever it was, what it could make, and we broke down the whole video. I'm probably gonna post that tomorrow as a separate video, but so in here in his tweet, Ginger Prime comes out and says, if this is true, because from Park Place, okay, it says Dragon Age Veilguard rumored. Let me state that because I know it says on the screen. I just want to say it out loud so people that are not looking at the screen. It says rumored to have sold less than Star Wars Outlaws. Now, we know Star Wars Outlaws sold 1 million or less. Okay, that's official. So Star Wars Outlaws sold 1 million copies or less, which was such a bad thing for Ubisoft. They had to move AC Shadows out of this year because they were struggling to push it back to February. Okay, they changed the whole landscape of what Ubisoft is doing because it didn't come out of the gate. So talking about the numbers of the 86,000, 87,000 for Veilguard right now on Steam, and we don't know the numbers on console. There's rumors that it sold less pre-orders. Okay, 75,000 or less pre-orders. Okay, for Veilguard when it first came out. Okay, and now they're saying rumored to have sold less than Star Wars Outlaws, which would be that's devastating, right? Because if a game like this, it's been in development for 8 years, where they had to reboot it twice, it's definitely over $200 million game. Okay, 1 million sales or less is just going to be absolutely like BioWare's in trouble. Okay, BioWare's in trouble. Now again, it's rumored, but the numbers, if you again. Kingdom Come Deliverance had 96,000. Their concurrent was 96,000. They sold 300,000, and they sold 2 million that year. Okay, same type of number, and they're saying that it's less than 1 million right now because it's less than Star Wars Outlaws. So it'd be very interesting to see if that's actually true when it comes out. But yeah, it's not looking good. So no matter what the articles say and say, oh, it's the best-selling one, it's the best-selling EA game on Steam. I mean, okay, great, but it's the only game. The only other game to come out on Steam day and date was Jedi Survivor. Okay, that was the first game to come out on Steam. Everything else before that has never come out on Steam simultaneously with the rest of the stuff. So this is the first game to come out simultaneously with console and Steam. And it's not doing well on Steam. Not to say it's not doing well on console. We don't know those numbers. They won't share those numbers. But the only way they would share those numbers, Sarge, is if they were good, right? Which they're not doing, right? Which they're not doing. So I think what's going to happen...
Space Marine 2, very excited. Here are the numbers.
Well, I think this is what's going to happen. BioWare is going to double down, okay? Right? Is going to double down. EA and BioWare is going to double down by putting more money towards this. It's going to get some game nominations for award shows coming up. It'll be in the running for Game of the Year. It's going to hump it up to try to hype it up.
They're going to try to hype up, yeah.
They're going to try to hype it up to get it more sales so they can say it, because they haven't said anything about sales right now, right? They haven't said anything about sales, and if it was doing well, then it would sell itself, but it's not doing well, so they're going to have to pump more money into it to see if they can push it over that edge to get people to buy it and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with that in the. I mean, we're going to find out. We're a little less than a month away, or a little bit more than a month away from the Game Awards and whatnot. Okay, so next one. Speaking of BioWare, okay, BioWare. So BioWare devs say that maybe 20 people left the studio have used the old Dragon Age engine, so it's harder to remaster than Mass Effect. So never say never, though. So if you're thinking about, hey, man, I would love a remaster of Dragon Age 1 and 2, don't get your hopes up.
So
because
there you go. There's the answer to all the questions that we've been saying, right? The people that worked at these studios when you liked the games are not there anymore. There.
Yeah.
That right there proves it.
Yeah.
Because the people there currently don't even know the engine that the original games worked on. That's how you know the studio's changed.
Right. So when they're trying to say that, look, like 20 people are left there, there's not enough people that own the new engine, and they're using the Frostbite engine now. And that's why that's why it's so different. This and everyone thinks it's because everyone. I shouldn't say everyone. There's a group of people that think that the game is failing just because it's woke. And I say it's failing because of the bad writing, the gameplay, and all this other stuff. They changed too much. And now you look at this and say, well, they're not making any remasters because there's only 20 people left that know of the old engine. So that just shows, just like you said, Sarge, that the BioWare now is not the BioWare of old, right? It's completely different. They changed so much of the core of what Dragon Age is. People are looking at it going, this is not my Dragon Age. Sort of like when Suicide Squad came out and people were like, this is not my Batman game I wanted, right? Like, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for this type of stuff. Like, I want another Batman game. This is not the Batman game I was looking for. They were looking for a Dragon Age. This is not the Dragon Age game they were looking for, and they're never going to find it because BioWare is just BioWare by name, right? Dragon Age is just by name.
But there's a line in the sand, even for people, that you want something that's familiar to you, but progress is progress. Things have to move on, and I 100% understand that. But if your progress in trying to forward an IP and you leave over 75% of your original community behind and they don't want it, then I think you've gone too far, right?
Right.
Everybody, no, it works both ways. No game developer wants to work on the same game forever, right? You and I had many discussions about the people working on Destiny. Don't you think they're bored? Don't you think they're tired of working on Destiny? Like, I understand it's job security for 10 years. As long as the game's doing well, 10 years, you got a job. That's great. But let's talk about the artistic value of it. If all I'm doing is the same shit over and over again, I'm going to lose my mind, right? So where's the balance, right? Now, the balance before was easy because games took 2 to 3 years to make. So we would make one game. Right, we would make one game and then make a couple other games and then go back to that first game. Right, in a decade we can get back to it. You can't get back to a game back now in a decade. A game takes 5-6 years, sometimes even 7 years. AAA level.
Right, most of these games taking like 5 to 8 years now. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In another interview, Robert Jones sent it into Discord. We listened to an interview with the people that made Hardline, right? And the developer's like, I would love to make another Hardline. He goes, but a lot of the people that worked on Hardline 1 didn't want to work on the next game. They wanted to go do something else. They left that studio or left to go do another game because they don't want to sit there and work on another game, the same type of game, right? They don't want to keep making Battlefield games, right? As an artist, right, I don't want to work on a sitcom and only, like, if I worked in the film industry like I did, I don't want to work on one sitcom, one thing. Like, if I got to work on, like, Jerry Seinfeld, right, back in the day, and worked for 10 seasons, and that was my only thing I ever did, so my resume says I worked on Seinfeld. And they're like, great, that's all you did. But as an artist, I worked on movies, music videos, television shows, corporate videos, you know what I mean? I did so many documentaries, reality shows. So my resume, I'm doing something different all the time. I'm not constrained to just that one job. Artists don't want to sit down and do the exact same thing over and over and over and over.
But that's why from back in the day when a gem came out, like a game just hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Right? That it was a gem because you know that you were not going to get another game like that. But what ended up happening is they wanted a following. So they started making these IPs with these sequels. And so then you expected to see this amazingness every time. Right? And this goes for most of the big IPs, right? Halo, Gears, right? The Battlefield series, the Call of Duty series, like you expected it to be amazing every time. And when you're trying to copy pasta greatness, you can't always get it, right? It's not meant that way. Like for me, right? For me, back in the day on the old IBMs, right? I love the Gold Box series. Now, only the old people understand what the Gold Box series is. The Gold Box series is the Dungeons and Dragons RPG series. Right, I'm trying to remember the exact names, but the one trilogy was like Pool of Radiance. I'm trying to remember I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but it was like they were like books and games. Like you bought them in 3 game sets, and then like after a couple of years, another one would come out, and there was a different storyline. Right, same premise, but remember the timeline. The timeline was different. They could come out of the game every couple of years. Right. In present day, like maybe like the late 90s, early 2000s, or the beginning of the millennia, like. When Baldur's Gate came out, right, that was a great game, right? An amazing game. When they came out with the sequel, people who are into PC games, if you owned a PC, you owned Baldur's Gate, right? That's how good that game was.
Yeah.
Now, there's a long gap. There's a long gap, bro. Maybe you should look it up. Like, when did Baldur's Gate 2 come out, right? Because if you think about it, what Larian did for Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not trying to be over the top here, but if you understand the series of that game, Larian, that's like their opus to like Baldur's Gate, right? They did the best that they could. They did the most that they could. They probably bled, sweat, and teared on that game, right? And that's why when they released it afterwards, they said, we're not making another one, because they know that's the top.
Right.
We're there.
Right.
That's the top.
Like, how are you going to make the next one, and you're going to have to beat what you just did? So let's just move on.
Impossible.
Yeah. Just move on.
Move on. Right. That's why I cherish this game that you got me, because that to me is like the
when you get around to it, you'll play it.
The ending of decades of a series, right? It's just how things are. You're not supposed to have the same thing all the time, right? But the way the game companies are now, they're terrified of being able to maintain revenue that they know is not maintainable, right?
Right.
They looked at other companies and they say how much money that they have in. Like, Rockstar is off the chain, bro. Right? EA made Call of Duty and the COD series is off the chain. The amount of money they make is off the chain. Then you added other stuff in between. Why do you think they changed? They changed FIFA and Madden into FIFA? Because that's what makes money.
Yeah,
they're trying.
Those two franchises pay for the demise of like BioWare, right?
Everything else that they try, right? Listen, I'm happy that you get a good game every once in a while, right? Now, I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. We grew up during the beginning of video games. Do you understand how many shitty games there were? When we were growing up.
Yeah,
right?
Just like movies, though. How many shitty movies and television shows?
For every banger game, that was in your head forever.
There's 9 that sucked ass.
There's like 12 or 20 that was just garbage. Yeah. But amazingly, they kept making games, right? Somehow these companies were able to, well, that's the 35th failure we have. Hey, will someone give us $2 million to make another game? And they go like, yeah, video game industry seems pretty cool. Let's give you some more money so you could go blow another game out. Like,
right.
What? How is it that many shitty games over the decades and the gaming industry is where it is today? Because just like movies, you only need one good one.
Right.
You only need one good one to cover the cost of the bad ones. Yeah.
Yep. Well, you were talking about Grand Theft Auto, and here you are. Grand Theft Auto 5 gets an impressive sales update. Okay. So they went down in sales, Sarge, per year, because they were averaging 20 million sales per year for 10 years. Well, this is year 11. Yeah. And they're only down to 18.9 million because they just hit 205 million copies sold.
It's insane.
205 million copies sold in 11 years. Okay. And here's a stat for you. GTA 5 makes up nearly half of the entire GTA series sales of over 435,000 copies. So
million.
Oh, sorry. I said 1,000 million. Out of all the Grand Theft Auto games, they sold 435 million, and this one game has sold 205 million of all Grand Theft Auto games.
That's
insane.
That's the buildup of the community.
Yeah. And on top of that, Red Dead Redemption 2 just surpassed, I think, 76 or 67. Where does it say that over here? Hold on one second. It passed 67. 67 million for Red Dead Redemption. Now, most people would look at Red Dead Redemption and go, well, it's a failure because it didn't sell 205 million. But the Western, that was one of my favorite games of all time, right, sold 67 million units, okay? Like, Rockstar is just sitting back going, yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it, man. Because they're still making billions of dollars a year off the online version, let alone the amount of money they made off of just playing the single player versions of these games. Okay, they're not even supporting the Red Dead Redemption 2 online anymore, and people are mad about that. The community that was there, they just stopped supporting it because it wasn't bringing in enough money as Grand Theft Auto 5 online. So this is insane though. Right? Like 205 million copies for a game where you go around just blowing up shit. killing hookers, and cops, and blowing up. And
not true. You're
but that's what most people go around. They just rocket launch the whole civilians and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's just it's just a fun game.
The original trilogy of Grand Theft Auto, the fun part was when you did something and you escalated, you would have to
outrun. Yeah,
you have to remember where the shortcuts were.
Yeah,
in order to get the safe spots to get
outrun the cops and stuff like that. Yeah,
that was the original reason.
Sit down and hold the ground and try to blow them up and then give you time to run away. Right. So very impressive. Very impressive. I don't think Veilguard will ever get to that point.
Well, but this is what this is what
99% of games won't get to this point. 205 million.
But this is what I'm saying. So when you look at a game like Grand Theft Auto, and I'm not trying to be negative, and I've said this already once or twice, I look at Grand Theft Auto 5, and I say to myself, is this game the pinnacle of the series? And now they keep talking about 6. They keep talking about 6. 6 looks amazing. The graphics look amazing. Everything looks amazing. But the climate that we're in, the stuff that we know,
sure,
the politics involved is not the same anymore. The politics are involved now, right? Do you believe that you think that 6 can top 5?
Well, in what way? Do you mean total sales? Like in 11 years from now, are they going to sell 205 million copies?
We've talked about this. I say I don't believe that 6 can beat 5.
In sales when it first comes out, or total?
I could say both ways. I don't think 6 will be better than 5 was financially and just game wise. Like it might be an amazing map, or it might be an amazing this. But I'm talking about the entire thing, the whole concept of how you play it, what it is, what it ends up being. Do you believe that it can beat 5? Think about it.
I think it will beat 5 because I believe that the amount of hype when you look at something like this. Look,
that's all there is. They don't make anything else.
No. But what I'm saying is
they only make one game.
No, they come out and they tell you this in the financials. Hey, we're still selling 18.9 million copies a year. Okay, yeah. Which people would love that in a lifetime. That's selling that every year for the last 11 years. Okay, yeah. When Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, you just said it. Baldur's Gate 3, they left because they couldn't top Baldur's Gate 3. Rockstar is looking at Grand Theft Auto 5 and saying, we got more on us. We can top what we just did with that.
We could do one more.
We could do one more. Yeah. Right? They do one more, and then it's just all about the online universe after that, right? What they keep updating it or whatever. I think, and I've said this before on this stream, I think we put it in the big book of bull already. I think it will beat pre-orders. Right now, the best pre-order game ever is Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, it sold
20 million.
8 million copies pre-order.
Pre-order.
Okay, 5 million more sales on day one. Okay, so it holds 12 million copies by day one. Okay, so by day one, Cyberpunk sold 12 million copies or 13 million copies.
The gamer population right now, when that game comes out, is going to explode. I guarantee you, if there are hard copies, there won't be enough.
Here's the problem that Rockstar, it's going to be hard to beat, and here's why. If it doesn't come out, which it usually doesn't, come out day and date on PC and console, you're going to have more people show up on console than they've ever done before for any Rockstar game, okay? Because there's less consoles between Xbox and PlayStation. There's less than 100 million units out right now, okay? So if it comes out, now here's the thing. If people buy it through the stick and the television sets and all the other things, it could do it. But you're going to have more people because there was 100, because it came out on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, right?
It's three game systems, bro.
Yeah. So when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, it was on 360 and it was on the PlayStation 3. Okay. So between the 3 and then the 4 and then the 1, there's like 122. There's like 200 million consoles out there that could purchase it, and basically then PC afterwards. So you're gonna need like 40% of the people that own a PlayStation and 40% of the people that own an Xbox hard consoles to purchase this to kind of beat what's happening right now, to beat Cyberpunk. But I do believe they can do it beat pre-orders, beat day one, beat week one, beat month one, and after that, I think it dies down a little bit until they open it up to PC, and then it blows up again.
You understand the complexity of that game when it came out on the 360, right? 3 main characters, tied stories together, leaving one guy to go to a different guy and jumping back and forth. Do you understand the complexities of that game at that time, right? And I'm looking at the new one, and I'm like, I don't think they're going to do something as complicated as that. I think they're going to go back to keeping it simple. The duel.
There's 2 protagonists. There's 2 protagonists in this one.
It's a Bonnie and Clyde type of thing. They keep talking about it. It looks like Bonnie and Clyde. They're not going to give up they never give up the sauce, bro. You're never going to know until the game comes out. But because of the fact that Rockstar does not have any other games, this is the only game they have, right? The hype for this game is going to be insano.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it will be for the hype of the game.
Right? And by the way, nobody in the news talks about it. No one's going to say shit about it, but as soon as that game comes out, it's going to be about how the dregs of society are bringing us down. Look at this game. How do we treat people? Like, they're going to go on this soapbox rant about how this game is a detriment to society as a whole. Meanwhile, the game's been selling the same for fucking 11 years, and you guys don't give a shit about it. So apparently you guys don't care. So the new one comes out, and if they say, if the mass media says, now I'm not talking about the gaming media, I'm talking about the normal people media.
Yeah, I got you.
If they start talking about GTA 6 as a detriment to society,
help me. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they talked about how potentially they're changing the story, because Jason's bringing it up in chat. He says, my fear is that the writing will be really watered down and won't be as edgy as the past editions, which article came out like 2 years ago. I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years ago. We talked about it. Look, if it comes out like that and the word gets around, then it's going to hurt the sales. But if it comes out and it's just GTA. I'm assuming, if it just comes out as GTA, it's fucking through the roof. Like, it's going to be the one all be all for Grand Theft Auto fans, and just the market's going to be like unstoppable. This is an unstoppable train coming, right? Like, Rockstar or Call of Duty sells 30 million copies a year. They're going to say, hold my beer, right? Because like this game is going to be amazing. And especially since the last time a game came out, there's people that are now that were 10, that are 21. And
That's
people
what
at 21 are like 32. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see when this game comes out. All right, let me see what else. All right, so the next story I want to talk about, Sarge, is Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws reveals 3 areas of focus to future updates. Now, Julian, the guy who was the director, he just left the Outlaws crew, and he's moving back over to probably Division 3 to work on Division 3. So they have a new director in store for this to fix the game. Now, the things that they're fixing, I covered this in the morning show this week. They're covering everything that I talked about in this game that was bad. The stealth mission, the firing, right, and just making the game better overall. Now, remember, Sarge, when the game first came out, and I had problems with the game, and I said, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and everyone's like, well, I'm having fun.
You're a hater.
I'm having fun. You're a hater. Right? And I'm like, they need to fix these things. And they did. They fixed her face in the cutscenes, because the rendering that was happening with the in-game cutscenes compared to the rendered cutscenes, they went back and they fixed that. Check. Okay, because I said her face is like morphing in the thing. They're like, you're just a hater because you hate her face. I'm like, no, her face is literally morphing during the actual scene, so they fixed that. Okay. I said the stealth is bad because it's just stupid the way the stealth is. They're fixing that. The detection of the stealth, I said, is awful. They're fixing that. I said the aiming of the stuff is bad. They're fixing that. It's amazing what a little bit of constructive criticism does when the people speak up, right? And I talked about this earlier this week. I said people with negative criticism of a thing they love or they like is not negative. It's positive feedback, right? To tell the devs and tell the company that, hey, this is bad, is a positive movement to make sure the thing gets fixed. If I just accepted everything going, this is the perfect game, there's nothing wrong with it, it'd be like, all right, cool, everything's good, right? And they don't fix it, and you're falling through the map, and the stealth sucks, and the shooting's all off, right? You not saying anything because you think it's perfect, okay? Don't worry. The ones that are haters and hate games will help you have them fix the game so it's better for you to enjoy more, right? Like,
what is she doing with the flashlight?
That's the gun. That's not a flashlight.
That's a flashlight, bro.
It's just a picture. They took it before the thing's shot. Yeah. I just think it's funny that people are like, oh, all the negative stuff, they're fixing it. They fixed it. Now, They shouldn't have to fix it because the game should have not come out in that state. And by the time they fix it, it'll be 3 months old. It'll be 6 months old, or whatever that is. And it should have came out.
Not perfect.
Not perfect, but it shouldn't have come out the state that it came, but they forced it out. They forced it out. Why did they force it out, Sarge? Because they wanted you to get the EA, or I'm sorry, the Ubisoft Plus for the month of October, okay, or September, whatever it was, okay. So you could then lead it into the expansion pack that's coming out. So then when AC Shadows came out in November, okay, so you could just stay on the platform, right? They just had to keep doing it, right? So that's why they released it. They're like, we'll just fix it later. Which there was a report, and I forget which article it was. Just recently, a developer came out and said, well, our games are always going to come out broken, buggy, because we know they're broke when they come out, and we're going to fix it down the road. They admit it straight up to your face that the games are coming out broken, buggy, and this is another reason not to buy games day one, because they're putting them out day one with bugs and brokenness of it. It's so frustrating. And then when people blindly protect these things because they're having fun, I don't give a shit if you're having fun, right? I want a thing that works. You enjoy the game for a broken, buggy mess that you're enjoying to have fun. Great. I want a game that when I pay full price for, that it works. It's not broke. It's not buggy. I'm not falling through the map. I can go through a door and it doesn't break, right? Like Marvel's Avengers 4 years ago, I couldn't finish the game because it wouldn't go to the boss fight. 14 days I had to wait for that. Right?
That was rough, especially because you went all the way to the end and then couldn't finish.
Yeah, I stopped.
Couldn't finish the last boss.
But everyone's like, well, I didn't have a problem. They're like, no problem here. And it's like, hey, sorry, guys. We know about the problem about that you can't finish the game. We're working on that. Thanks. They're like, oh, I'm a hater because I'm complaining about something that I can't finish because you're having fucking fun with the video game. Congratulations, right? Like, so it's so dumb. Salty says, I've already forgotten about it. Yo, for the Star Wars game? Yeah. And I said, when I played this, I said, once they fix it, 18 months from now,
Black Friday's coming.
I said, I'll pick it up on sale for like $20 and I'll add it to my collection because I enjoyed the game.
Black Friday,
but they had to fix it.
Black Friday's coming. I foresee, right? I'm gonna keep a credit card that I have that's open and no money on it ready. I believe Black Friday for video games this year is going to be insane because every game that they couldn't sell is going to be on sale. I'm going to be looking on Steam for a lot of good deals.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get rid of a couple stories here, Sarge, because all right. The next one I want to talk about is Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in production at Warner Brothers Games, and we have a couple of Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's in production. It's confirmed. It's in production. Okay. They're going to try to connect it in some way, shape, or form to the new HBO series that they're working on, WB, right? And it's one of the things that they're working on because they announced today that there's 4 franchises they're working on. They're working on Batman. They're working on...
You mean there are 4 franchises that they're working on destroying?
No, WB, well, whatever. WB as a whole. They're working on TV shows, video games, and stuff between Batman, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and I forget the last one they're doing. But Hogwarts Legacy is one of them, right? We're in that WB umbrella of a Harry Potter. And they're going to try to connect it to the HBO series that's supposed to be coming back out where they're recasting like Harry Potter. Instead of a movie, they're going to make it into a series on HBO or whatever, okay? So... I don't know how they're going to do this, Sarge, and I had a conversation earlier this week about, I know you didn't play Hogwarts Legacy, and you just kind of answered the question earlier in the show when you said you want games where you can continue on and continue playing in between them, like a Mass Effect, like those type of games. So Hogwarts Legacy 2, earlier this week, I said, I hope that because the game takes place in year 5, you're a new student in year 5 of your school of 7 years.
How many years are you in that school?
7 years. 7?
Okay,
so you're a new student in the school at year 5, okay? And then even when the game came out, I said, they'll probably have 2 sequels, so you're year 5, year 6, year 7. This takes place 100 years, though, before Harry Potter, okay? So when they say it's going to link to the HBO show, and if they're redoing the Harry Potter world, it takes place in the 90s, it takes place in the late 1800s to early 1900s, okay? So it's like, how are they going to do that if it's a continuation from Hogwarts Legacy 1 to 2, if you're playing this, we don't know anything about it, but if you're playing the same character, now you're 99 years in front of Harry Potter or 97 years in front of Harry Potter. You know what I mean? Because you're doing consecutive years. How would they put that thread through it to connect it to the HBO show? You know what I'm saying? Like, I said they might take a character like, what the hell's the guy's name now? I completely forgot. The villain. Voldemort. Thank you.
The guy that should not be named.
Yeah, right. So Voldemort, that's why I couldn't remember him. Right. So Voldemort, maybe he's in school during the same time as you and you meet him. Right. And then maybe it connects to the thread to that. Something along the lines, maybe you're going to school with other people that when they grow up, it just doesn't make sense to me how they want to link it up if it's a loosely linked up, right? Maybe not linked up sort of like what Defiance did, where it took place in San Francisco, but the show took place in St. Louis, Missouri, and they were crossing it over, at the exact same time. They can't do that with this game compared to the series, unless they move the series to closer to the time period of what the game is, or they tell a completely different story within Hogwarts Legacy, which I think would be a mistake because I think you invested the time and what they did with the character is really good. So what do you think they do? Do you think they make a completely different character and story for you in Hogwarts, or do you think they kind of change the reboot of the series to make it closer to this?
I don't want to be the fuddy-duddy, but is it the same people working on it, number one?
Yes, it's the same company working on Hogwarts Legacy 2. Yeah.
Are there any new suits involved? Is number two.
I don't know that. I don't think so. Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that they will try to strike gold twice. My issue is that WB knows that it was a good selling game, and now they're going to hold the bunny too close and pet the bunny too hard, and they're going to accidentally kill it because they want it bad.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
Because they want it to do so well, they're going to try all this other stuff in it instead of just making the game and sell the game. That they're going to overdo it and kill it. But I am hopeful that they make a sequel to a game that should have been on the best game of the year, should have got the acclaim that it got, right? And because of the political bullshit, right?
Yeah, which had nothing to do with the game, by the way.
This game should have got noticed.
It had nothing to do with the game. It had everything to do with the creator of this series, of the books, and not the actual game itself, right? You can see something happening because they didn't say anything about this game, but because I bring up Veilguard again, Veilguard has a transgender character in it, and it's being uplifted by the media. But this one, because the creator of Harry Potter said something against the trans, this one got shoved down in the media, right?
Which is all you need to know,
right? And Legacy Killer HD had a video today that came out talking about and showed all the articles that they talked about how bad this was, but it wasn't talking about the game. It was talking about
just her,
yeah. And pushing the rhetoric that they.
So basically, the game got guilt by associated.
Correct. Right.
They weren't even judging
not the game itself. Just the character.
I will say this though. I thought the combat system for that game, considering what they had to do, was phenomenal. To be the wizard and to be able to cast spells and defend against spells, and the combat system that was introduced into that game, I thought was really well. It was really well done.
Well, remember I said I was worried about the combat system before it even came out. I was like, I'm worried about the combat system because we saw it and I was like, I don't know how it's going to work. When I started playing, I was like, this is fantastic. I was like, I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Story was good. The environment and the world, and then the way you do the spells.
Sucked right in. Like we said it out loud. We said, if you were a Harry Potter fan,
it's a wet dream.
And that game came out for you.
Yeah, it's a wet dream for you.
That's like our first Star Wars game ever coming out.
I'm still waiting for that Star Wars game.
Yeah, well, Outlaws should have been it, but it didn't.
Correct. Right. I'm still waiting for that Star Wars game.
Like
but
Jedi Survivor was damn close.
Yeah, so was Outlaws. If it came out in a better state, I would say. Yeah. Like if you gave me, if you just gave me a complete game, like it wasn't a half-baked game of the mechanics and stuff, it would have been fantastic with K-Vest and everything. I don't care if it's Han Solo or not. Like the character itself, I'm okay with, because the character in Hogwarts I'm making and creating. If they gave me a Star Wars game where I created my character, that would have been cool, right? I make the character that I want and live in that Outlaws world. That would have been cool.
Well, we're at the point now, bro, where I don't think it's even going to be more than a year where they're going to be able to pick any IP they want, make a video game based on it, and the voice of the character will be the voice of the guy you saw in a movie and the TV show, because the AI voice replicator, they can make anybody's voice. So we're going to reach the point now where they can make anybody and have the voice of the character that you know in your head. So we're not going to have any problems. I don't even think it's more than a year out, honestly. I think the next game that comes out with somebody recognizable, it's going to be their voice, right? It's going to be crazy.
Well, so they'll get sued because they're using someone's voice without them knowing?
No, it's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do what you're going to be sued because you're using the voice. It's going to be the fact that they made a game. They have the character, the person who the character is. Everyone's old now, Mike. They're not going to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying like a Harrison Ford type of thing.
Instead of, you're going to have
hiring Troy
Harrison
Baker.
Ford. Yeah,
right. Instead of hiring Troy Baker to do the voice,
absolutely,
the AI would just do the voice of Harrison Ford.
You're going to have everybody, every character you've ever heard in your head. You're going to have that voice. You're going to have the voice of the guy. You're going to have the voice of the guy you want.
Well, as long as they pay the estate or the actor, because we talked about this last week with Robert Downey Jr. with the likeness. If they're going to use your voice, as long as they pay them, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they do it behind their back, you know. So
listen, if it was going to cost me $25,000 to have you come in and do a bunch of lines and then leave, I'll give you $15,000. Just stay home. Thanks for your voice. You know what I mean? Like, let's not go through the whole thing of flying you out.
They do that now. They do recordings at home and they still pay them good money. Right. So, sticking with WB. Okay, so WB confirms bad news about multiverses. Okay, now long ago, Sarge, I don't even know what this article is yet because they just posted it.
Long ago, like 18 months.
Yeah, long ago, 2 years ago when the game came out, and I said this game will live or die with the amount of characters they put in the game. Yep. Okay, so WB confirms bad news about Multiverse. Let's read this. Okay, it says, during a recent financial call, Warner Brothers executives revealed that Multiverses has been underperforming for the company, adding that an already major deficit this year, despite the Multiverses shutting down earlier in 2023 following a lengthy beta period and uncertain future. Things appeared bright after Warner Brothers and Player First Games confirmed free-to-play Brawler would be making a comeback. Now, the May relaunch of Multiverses was met with plenty of excitement. Not really. It was less than excitement from what it was originally. But after First Player revealed that the changes to the studio made following the beta feedback, that the game's transition to Unreal Engine 5 introduced a new PvE mode called Rifts, and they announced the surprising character additions to the Joker, Jason Voorhees, Agent Smith, and this kicks things off in a company's seasons. Now, however, it appears the excitement was ultimately short-lived. Yeah, no shit. No shit. One, I said they should have more characters at launch, double. Whatever they had... I said the exact same thing for Marvel's Rivals. I said that game should come out with 40 characters minimum at the start, and they should add them 5 at a time every month. They just keep pumping characters into the game, right? Because people have short attention spans, and they want their favorite character to come in or whatnot. It says, despite missing features and modes at launch, which is true, okay, Multiverse quickly became a major hit and even prompted Warner Bros. To purchase Player First Games a couple of months later. Now, however, the momentum seems to have stalled as Warner Bros. Discovery President CEO Dave Zaslav, Chief Financial Officer, revealed that Multiverses has largely underperformed, adding another $100 million to the $200 million deficit already impacted the game division. Okay, so this game is doing so bad, it's now put them $100 million more in deficit. Instead of adding money to get out of deficit, they've added $100 million on top of the $200 million.
because you're trying to listen. The answer is always the same. They are trying to finagle an IP into a live service model that gets people playing forever and buying skins for a game instead of make a game and sell a game. Right? It's constant. Apparently, the tax write-off for video games must be really good because all these companies keep doing the same thing over and over again. Over-budgeted, over-bloated, right? Make the game, can't come out, and then we owe, and nobody cares. And by the way, they just start making another game, do the same thing. Apparently, the tax code somewhere says that if you spend over $200 million on a game, you must get like a 50% credit. And if you've got a well-diverse cast you must get another 50% back. There must be something going on.
I'm sure there's incentives.
That allows companies to fail this hard and to just keep making the same thing over and over again.
Well, I just want to read a little bit more. It says it didn't pin the entire deficit on Multiverses. It says, though they indicated that it was a primary reason alongside other underperforming releases. What other Warner Brothers games came out since May? Does anybody know off the top of your head? Like what other games
must be mobile
since May? Unless it's Mortal Kombat that underperformed, because that's owned by them, right? Like what other game underperformed? Right? So it's going more in the deficit. All right. Every single one.
All of them underperformed.
Every single one. right? Mickey says, Mickey 019 says, the problem with multiverses is that they have this game with all these cool characters, but it costs way too much to get them, and the grind to unlock them is ridiculous. What did I tell you before the show, Sarge? I said exactly what Mickey just said in chat. I said the problem with this game is they lock characters behind a paywall, okay, instead of just play the game as what it is. Let me pay the cosmetics or whatever. They lock them behind. They open up like 3 or 4 at a time to let you play with them, to experiment with them, but then they lock them again behind the thing, and they charge way too much, and the grind is way too much in this game.
Because they're greedy.
This is what happens with free-to-play games, okay? Instead of just coming out and charging a game like this, okay, $40, because that would be a fair price for this game, like $35, $40, and then coming out with 10 new characters and going, here's 10 new characters for an additional $15, $20, right? And people are like, oh, I want those characters. And they just buy the characters when they want to put them in the game, right? No. They have to do microtransactions, the grindiness, and people start grinding like, this is too much of a grind. I do not want to play this. They put the game down completely. Instead of making the $40 up front, they're like, no, free-to-play game. Let's charge $40 for one character. Let's charge to this. And they're like, this is too much because, you can earn everything in the game, but you just got to, quit your job. And you got to work full-time.
Time. It's always the same currency, right? If you're 12, it's fine. If you're 20, it's okay. If you're 30 plus, I don't have the time.
Right.
I don't have the time to jump through all your hoops for what you call fun. I don't have it.
Travis says 30 Speedstorm is just as bad. Exactly. Here's the good thing about Speedstorm, though. They have a shit ton of characters. They have way ton of characters. The problem with Speedstorm is they charge way too much to unlock them, and it's too grindy. Okay? Again, put a game out, charge upfront price, $40, give me 20, 30, 40 characters at the beginning, and then put 10 new characters every 6 months, 3 months, whatever. Disney and Warner Brothers, they have thousands of characters. Thousands, right? They can bundle them together and people would purchase the things, right? Nope. They want to be such greedy companies. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to give you this character and this one guy is $25, even though a game it takes 6 years to create is that price. And they're like, oh, we're just going to sell you a skin that's 1/3 the cost or half the cost.
Because you don't know what money is.
Right.
Because you don't understand how money works or what money is. All it is to you is a piece of paper with some faces on it. That's all it is, right? I just give you this thing and you get it. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Krebsy says they also released Quidditch and the Batman VR. Well, okay, Batman VR just came out, so we don't really know the sales of that. Maybe it didn't sell well. It's VR, so it probably didn't sell well. But Quidditch game, here's a game that they actually just charged. What I just said, right? They just charged, I think it was $30. It's $30 or $40 game, which I think is a good price point for that. Probably sold pretty well. I guarantee you it sold more than this or other games that Warner Brothers has done. Okay? Obviously, not all games are going to make the profit, just like a movie, like we've always talked about, like we just brought up earlier, right? Lots of shit games out there to get that one game that makes all the money.
But when you have this many sprinkles for your sundae, just let me have the sprinkles. You have all these characters to play with. Eventually, I'll buy some stuff for them. Just let me have them. Right. Your free-to-play model, instead of being here are the characters, buy what you want for them, is you want to try to do like the Disney Vault system. Like, well, you only get these characters for 6 months, and we're going to put them in a vault. Pull the other guys like why are you treating them like that? Just open it up and let people have fun with the characters, right? Every time they make a decision like this, you can hear it in their head. They're not thinking like someone who's trying to play a video game.
No.
They are thinking about someone who's trying to sell a product, right? If you just let the gamers game, they'll give you money when they have fun.
Right.
You want to charge them for the actual fun before they get anything, and then you want to know why they don't want to buy 1,000 hours before you get the fun. Or you could pay $40 to get the fun. And I'm like, I don't understand. You told me I could have the fun for free, but I can't have the fun for free. Right. I have to now give you the money for free or not. I don't understand how this works. Like, where's the fun?
First of all, this Multiverses needs to open up. Instead of playing the characters in riff mode, okay, and having things locked behind where you have to have this T-shirt to unlock this thing or that. Dumb. Open up all the characters. Let us play the characters.
I'll play.
If I like the character and you put cool skins in,
I'll buy them.
Put more characters in. Don't go, well, this season we're adding 2 new characters. Okay, great. You have 1,000 characters. You have 1 season. You have 4 seasons a year. So you're putting 8 new characters a year. Wrong. You should be putting 10 characters in this season and putting 40 characters in for the year. Okay? That's what you should be doing with all your IPs. Where's Harry Potter? Where's Game of Thrones? Where's Lord of the Rings? Where's Mortal Kombat? Throw them all in the fucking pool and put them into the goddamn multiverse game and let the kids have fun playing video games with the actual people in there, right?
Do you know how many Barbie Funtime clothes you can buy with that many characters?
What's that?
So do you know how many Barbie Funtime clothes you can buy?
Oh, absolutely. Right?
I don't.
No, we got to put time into that, Sarge. We have to actually.
It's in their head, man. They can't let it go. They're so. They would rather lose $100 million on a game than actually sell the game and make a couple hundred million, maybe half of. Even if you made $40 million on your first attempt to make a video game, at least count it as a win. Put it in your hat and call it a day, right? Nope. We got to push the envelope.
That's not what I'm saying, Eclipse. I want to play and fight against NPCs. I want to use the characters and fight the NPCs, not just in the Rift mode. I just want to play the game and fight against NPCs like they had in the game before they shut the game down and then took that out of the game and then brought the game back a year later, right? They took stuff out of the game that was in the game that people, and they're like, wait a minute, we can't have that in the game because if we did, we'll lose money. Tom here says that 0.294% of the people that played this game didn't spend money on this thing, and we can't have that, right? And that's exactly what's working. It worked great before they shut it down after the beta. They brought it back. Less people are playing. Why? Because they took stuff out of the game that was in the game before, in the beta.
This is all news to me. Oh, I don't know why anyone's playing the game.
So here's the next thing with WB. So WB, Warner Brothers Games, focusing on Batman. Mortal Kombat's the one I missed. Mortal Kombat, Hogwarts Legacy, and moving forward. Okay, the last year plus, Warner Brothers Games hasn't been the best. The company, Warner Brothers, Dave Zaslav, during a company's earnings call November 7th, Zaslav said that the game's business substantially underperforming its potential. This comes after the financial disappointment. Are we still live? Because we got a hiccup. It said that the multiverses and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League lost the studio more than $300 million this year alone. Just off Suicide Squad. Amazing. So the other game also lost them money. And then Suicide Squad lost them $300 million. Jesus Christ. Now Warner Brothers Games is going to put more emphasis on most successful franchises moving forward. Okay. I think we're through some of the worst, and hasn't been pretty for the gaming business, Zaslav says during a call, but we have 4 games that are really powerful and have real continuity as they love them, okay? We're going to focus on those 4 primarily. We're going to go away from trying to launch 10, 12, 15, 20 different games, and I think we have a real chance now with the focus to have the gaming business be steadier. We added that we have 4 strong, profitable game franchises with loyal global fans: Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, in particular Batman. What's happening with Wonder Woman?
Do you think that Scrooge McDuck is going to allow Hogwarts to actually be created naturally? Right? Do you think Scrooge McDuck is going to allow Hogwarts to develop in a normal, healthy manner for them to sell a video game? Right? The only reason why it did well is because they didn't touch it. They just let somebody actually make a game, right? As soon as they start involving themselves in it, because they have good ideas, you know exactly what's going to happen.
They're like, all right, the only person that exists in the DC universe is Batman. Batman. Hey, we want a Superman game. No, we can't make a Superman game. You're getting Batman, right? They're like, what about the Wonder Woman game? We don't know if Wonder Woman's coming out now because Wonder Woman's not Batman. We have to have Batman and Batman only.
All right, well, just be honest with yourself. Close your eyes. And I'm not talking about
the
being
last
dirty.
2 games they came out with is not Batman games.
I'm not talking about being dirty. Close your eyes and imagine what a Wonder Woman game looks like. Like, what is it? What do you see as a Wonder Woman game?
I see Wonder Woman like a God of War or like a Witcher is what I see. Like an open world action adventure game, fighting badass villains and monsters and like playing Wonder Woman, right? Like she's a god. She's a goddess.
Got it.
So like God of War, but with Wonder Woman.
So we're looking at a Batman style combat system.
No. I mean, I would love that. I don't think that's what they do.
Just mashing buttons.
I think it's more like God of War than Batman.
Okay.
Like where it'd be like moments where you're hit X.
So it has
Y,
to be. So it has to be story driven. Is it third person or first person?
It's got to be third person. You got to stare at her ass and stuff.
Because it's Wonder Woman.
It's Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be Wonder Woman where I can't see Wonder Woman.
Right. That wouldn't make sense. Right.
No.
All right. So then, who is she fighting? What's the storyline going to be like? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can say let's make a Wonder Woman game, but it's not like making a Batman game.
No, but they could do it where she's saving. I don't know, but they could do something. I don't know personally what they could do with it, but it could be pretty badass if they do it correctly.
I agree. What I'm saying is the people who have it in their hands don't know. There are guys who spend years trying to make games that come out maybe good. Do you think do you think Batman came out good the first time around? I'm pretty sure they worked hard on the original Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. They worked hard on that. The combat system, everything else. So I can't imagine a third-party group who just wants to make money and has the DC guys in a headlock is just going to pump out a Wonder Woman game, and you think it's going to be on par. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Was it Monolith making them? Is right? We talked about that this morning, where they're making it where they use the Nemesis system that they haven't used in fucking like a decade. I think Wonder Woman could be good, but it's funny he's saying that. Oh yeah, we're gonna make Batman. We're gonna make DC games, but mostly Batman games. Like you can make Green Lantern, you can make a Flash game, you can make.
Doesn't have enough pull according to their slide rule, bro.
Of course not.
They did the whole little graph thing, and the guy wrote it down in the book. But Batman equals money. Wonder Woman doesn't equal money. Green Lantern doesn't equal money. Did you see the Green Lantern movie? It sucked. We can't do the Green Lantern thing. We can't sell it.
Yep.
We can't sell it. Instead of trying to build a world, especially since it is a world of DC, and insert the characters who are cool into it with good stories so you can actually make the Justice League, they're concerned about milking the tit of whatever name they have for as long as they can. So they're not interested in making a world that you can put things into. They're just looking to milk the IP. And when you have people in charge like that, you're not going to get a good game.
Right. They're just trying to, like you said, milk it as much as possible, right? They're like, well, these people bought here's the next story we could talk about, right? Which is Borderlands, right? Borderlands is they're trying to milk the teat. Okay, so they came out with Borderlands film, which bombed at the box office. We both saw it on YouTube, right? And
I watched it 2 days after it came out on YouTube.
I think it was the day it came out, pretty much, right? But the CEO of Take-Two said Borderlands movie disappointing, but it helped game sales. Okay, so the movie was one big advertisement. That's what it was. It was one big advertisement that people shit on the movie, but went back and started playing Borderlands 2, or they bought Borderlands 1, or they went to go buy it on sale, or they bought Borderlands 3, or they bought the pre-sequel, or they bought the Tales of Telltale games, right? Like, so it made good sales, which I think is funny because if you think about it, Sarge, why didn't they pull it off YouTube fast? Because it was a fucking advertisement. They're like, hey, look, it's so bad. People are like, you know what? This movie's bad. I want to go play Borderlands 2 to make me feel better. Which we did. I did. To get the taste of that movie out of our mouth, we're like, yeah, I want to go play Borderlands 2 to remember Borderlands in a good light.
But then you find it weird that they didn't pull it down?
No, that's what I'm saying. They didn't pull it down because it was an advertisement. They said this is free advertisement, right? Because they had it in the theaters. They didn't make money. They're like, all right, well, someone stole it. That should have been taken down like this.
Immediately.
It was up for weeks. It still might be up. Okay, why was it up for weeks? They're like, well, we can't make money off it, but did you notice we have an uptick in video game sales because this is out? Right?
Yeah.
And I've said the same exact thing that they should have done with Fallout 76. Fallout 76 made game sales went up with Fallout 76 when the series came out for Fallout. Okay, I said Fallout should have been week by week because it would have maintained, and people would have came back each and every single week and went, oh, the show's really good. I'm gonna go buy. It would have lasted longer, but that's not what they do, right? They try to.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the suits, as soon as they smell the whiff of money, they can't help but crush the bunny.
It's like throwing chum in the water.
They can't help but crush the bunny. They're like, oh, I love the bunny, and they pet it until they break its neck because they can't let go. Okay, this is how I keep my job. The bunny.
Right.
Money, this is how I keep my job. Like, why can't you guys just try to make a video game? How about you look at all the past games that did really well, and I don't know, maybe try to maybe learn from any of them at all, instead of doing the slide rule, which is skins, battle passes, seasons. Like, it's all you guys talk about. You don't talk about the game ever. It's just copy pasta on the skeletal of the game. It's got to have battle passes. It's got to have skins. Right? We know what we're talking about. Look at the sales of X game over here. Like, you guys don't have that game. You guys don't have it.
All right. Quick stories, and then we'll go to Q&A. One of the stories is Nintendo Switch will officially be backwards compatible with the original Switch games as well. Okay, so that's good news for Switch fans. So the next Switch will take your other Switch. Chat real fast. Is YouTube acting up? You guys getting hitches and stuff? If so, just make sure you refresh or whatever. If you can still hear me.
If it's acting up, give it a fresh one.
Yeah. The next one is also Death Stranding came onto Xbox today, and it's $20 right now on Xbox. It came out. They just shadow dropped it today. There's that. Then, which is really weird because we were just talking about this earlier today, and this came out 5 hours ago. I'm telling you, my brain is like it's attached to something out there, Sarge. That Amazon Mass Effect TV series is in development at Amazon. Okay, and I actually said, like, how come they haven't done a Mass Effect like a Star Trek? I talked about this morning. I was like, well, how come they haven't done this yet? And then 5 hours later, Mass Effect series in development at Amazon. So as more comes out with that, we'll talk about it. So
here's the deal.
Now that's something I'll watch.
Amazon's got a lot of money. However, who's Shepard? Right?
Well,
are they going to make Shepard a girl?
Well, no.
Are they going to make Shepard a girl?
Well, I'll be okay if they make Shepard a girl, because I played a playthrough with Shepard as a girl and Shepard as a boy, right? So I played. I'm fine with that. Okay. What I'm not fine with is if it is a fucking guy. I swear to God, if Pedro Pascal is fucking Shepard, I will boycott the shit out of Mass Effect on Amazon.
I mean, who's the actor right now that could be Shepard?
I mean, they could. I would like to give it to an unknown. Give it to a brand new face, right? Someone, an up and comer. Give it to someone like that. Okay. I don't want a known actor. I want the person that plays Shepard to be typecasted as Shepard from here on forward. I want him to be William Shatner of Mass Effect. Like,
yeah, but here's the problem. The problem is that someone who's that young and acting never played the original series, so he has no idea what it is. All he thinks is an acting job for a sci-fi show.
Well, no, that's fine. No,
if the homework assignment is go play the games, then maybe.
Yeah, go play the games. Don't be like, I don't want you to play the games because I don't want you to be
influenced,
subverted. Yeah, influenced by the thing. I want you to bring an unknown person into the role and let him be where he becomes famous because of that role.
Who's the guy from UFC? Like with Dana White? Is that the guy with the?
He's too big. Yeah, he's
too big for Shepard.
Yeah, he's too big for Shepard.
He's too big for Shepard. All right.
Yeah, you're gonna need someone built. Like, you don't want, if it's a guy that they make as Shepard.
It's a military guy. You gotta have a big guy.
You don't want someone like Chris Hemsworth, right? That's too big. Too big, right? You want someone like Ryan Reynolds that's like ripped, you know what I mean? Where he got into shape for like Deadpool type of guy. That's what you want, right? You don't want like big superhero guy. You want James Bond-esque type of looking kind of guy, but he's also a badass type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Mass Effect has so many characters.
Actually, that's a good one. Even though he's known, Travis, Stephen Amell, that'd be a good fit for Shepard. He played Green Arrow, Sarge, if you didn't know who he was. He played Green Arrow in the WB.
You need to talk about that PlayStation story.
Oh yeah, well, we are. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm actually excited for a Mass Effect, but at the same time, the rest of my back of my head's like, they're gonna fuck it up. Right? All right, and the other story that is a quick one is that, again, I just saw this before the show. You guys posted, I think Krebsy or someone posted it. PlayStation 5 Pro is losing to the Radeon RX 6800, which is a 4-year-old GPU. Oh, it's Akuta Papa that posted this. A GPU in 4 new benchmarks. Okay. So recent tests of the PlayStation 5 Pro have shown that the performance is underwhelming, and when compared to an older AMD Radeon RX 6800, which was released 4 years ago. So basically, the PlayStation 5 Pro is caught up to 4 years old hardware that you can get on the PC. All right. So although the PlayStation 5 Pro is newer, the console is a GPU promised to deliver around 16.7 teraflops compared to the standard PlayStation 5, which is 10.3 teraflops. Fails to outperform the RX 6800 is performed test. So why does it matter? Well, early rumors hinted that the PlayStation 5 Pro could compete with the RX 7800 XT. However, the initial tests show its performance is more on par with an RX 6800, a 4-year-old GPU currently priced at $350. Okay, so you could build a PC, Sarge, with that graphics card, okay, which is 4 years old, and still be better than the PlayStation 5 Pro, right? For so around the same price.
Before we engage with this, I know we got a lot of Sony ponies here. So my question to you is this a legitimate site that benchmarked this?
I mean, I don't know. It's a news story that someone submitted, so we're reading it. So take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
All right. So I'm gonna let that stew for a week or two, and I want to see if anyone comes out and starts to rebuke it and starts getting all mad because it's not true. You know what I mean? And then if they don't come out and say it's not true, then I'm going to start to worry.
Eclipse says it's Digital Foundry. Yes, it is. Yeah, he says it is.
All right. Just sad, man.
The thing is that we do know consoles are behind, right? Because
they always were.
Always are, right? They're usually 4 to 6 years behind. So obviously the PlayStation 5 Pro is the best console right now because it's the newest console right now. And the other systems were 4 years older than that. So obviously the newest for the PlayStation 5 Pro is still 4 years behind.
That it's absolutely fine. However, if we're going to talk about it like that, that's why I'm not saying it's true or not true. What I'm saying is, tell me what the video card in the Xbox is at this time. Tell me what that's inside the S at this time, and compare it to something else. Let me hear them all.
Well, they do say that in the Digital Foundry thing, I believe. So
because otherwise, I'm thinking someone's just mad at Sony.
I don't think it's bad. I mean, obviously, it's from Tech 4 Gamers. You know, it's I don't know the article's written by, but you know, someone else. We read a review, and the person that did the review has all the systems that I read the other day. He has every single system, and he said that you can see the difference, but he said I had to really pause and look at what the difference was between the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Normal person's not going to notice nothing.
That's what he said in his article. He said for those people that would notice it is a very small niche, everybody else wouldn't even know to notice. He said, so I wouldn't recommend buying the $700 one and get the $500 system because you would never be able to tell. He was talking about details like on the torches and the water and the shaders and stuff like that. He said when you're swinging through the city of Spider-Man, he's like, you're not going to notice that. When you're playing Dark Souls, you're not going to walk up to the torch and be like, he's like, you notice it, but you don't notice it, right? Like most people, I said that in Division 2, right? The world's gorgeous. But you're walking by most of the trash on the ground and the shadows and everything. You're not really looking at it. You're just shooting while you're in that world. It's just part of the world. He says it's cool if you stop and look at it for a split second, but after that, you're just going to, just play the game. You're not even going to notice. It's not worth it for what he said, but we'll see. And that will be the last story that we have. So we are going to go to the questions. We have a couple of questions. So let's get to the Q&A. All right, so people have been submitting questions in the entire show. If you want your question, you can submit it. Please be a question about substance of what some of the show was about, not what color underwear we're wearing or anything like that. The first question that we have is Travis says, mostly for Sarge, but is your opinion, is Dune as an MMO going to work? It seems like there's too much court intrigue in it to be good.
As I stated earlier, when we discussed this, when the game first was talked about before they showed the first screenshots, I said that the Dune universe is too niche for mainstream gaming. You're going to have people who like survival games who are going to play it, and they might enjoy it, but you are not going to get the numbers needed for that game to last a long time because of the IP that it is and the game model that it is and where it is.
Right.
Right. I could be wrong. Maybe it makes money, but I know Dune, and I know that nobody else is talking about Dune on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. because they think it's cool, right? You only talked about Dune because it's back in the theaters. Otherwise, no one gave a shit about Dune, right?
Well,
you've been talking about Star Wars for 50 years. You've been talking about Lord of the Rings for
right.
30 years. Yeah, you're talking about all these other things that there's no movie out, there's no game out, but we're talking about it all the time. Nobody's talking about Dune, okay? So to say that it has a following is incorrect. There might be a small group of people who will make the game succeed, but there's no way that game's going to be like in the upper echelons of like what you think a survival MMO is going to be.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I don't think it'll be great. I got into the thing whenever it happens, so we'll see what happens when it comes in the beta or whatnot. Next question is also by Travis. He says, I know there's contenders for Game of the Year, but I have to know for both Mike and Sarge, what was your worst game you've played this year?
It's hard.
The worst game I played this year. I'll be honest.
New games, right?
Yeah, new games. What I played this year. Yeah. Well, does it have to be a game that's new this year, Travis, or just a game that I played for the first time this year? You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been a last year game or whatnot. The game I played that worst this year. Well, actually, it's pretty simple. It was the demo I played a couple of weeks ago of Camper Van Simulator. That was the shittiest game I played this year. It was bad. But if I can't pick that one, what was another game that I played that I just didn't like? I can't think of one. I'm trying to think of all the games. I would have to go back at my list. You know what? Let me go back to my list real fast because I do lots of Let's Play stuff. So while Sarge is thinking, let's.
I have to pick a game that's new. That's new for the year. So the one that I was disappointed with, I thought was just like I want it to be good. It's just not. It doesn't work right. Is the Starship Trooper game? I would rather play Helldivers.
Well, to be honest though, you played that though last year on PC and you enjoyed yourself.
It was okay. It was okay.
Let's see.
Worst game I played, considering I've played a lot of games, but you're talking about like new games. So that's the worst one. I wanted it to be good. It's just not good.
The games I played, most of the games I played, I liked. That's why I play them.
I mean, that trash simulator game, whatever that was horrible. I mean, I didn't play it. I didn't want to play it after looking at it.
Maybe I would have to say the South Park game. The new South Park game that we played that earlier in the year.
What was wrong with that one?
As a new game?
I forgot.
It just didn't feel. It didn't feel. They changed it up too much to what the last South Park game was. I'll say the South Park game, even though I enjoyed it. I would say that's probably the worst game I played for the newer games that I played this year. Next one, again from Travis, says, should we make Hunter Guild for wilds like a clan, for lack of a better word? Here's my problem. I don't like to create those. If you guys want to create a clan, I'll be more than glad to join a clan. I don't want to start a clan because I don't dive into games like most of you guys do. I'll play it for like hardcore for like a week, and then I might switch out and go to something else, and then I'm never in there again type of thing. And then you have the circumstance like in Division where I lost the leadership of the guild and someone else takes it over. So
by the way, sorry, Brain, we lost it. It's over.
Yeah, so if you guys want to make a clan, I'll be more than glad to be a part of the clan and whatnot. But I'm not going to run it. Next one is Altern says, after playing Monster Hunter Wilds beta demo, do you believe that more games should benefit on having a demo to boost sales? And if so, what game that you played would suggest to have a demo? I think all games should have demos. I've talked about this in the past.
Anything in the AAA category should always have a demo.
Yeah.
And guys who are in independent studios who are looking to get a leg up should always do a demo.
Yeah, 100%.
Are looking to get noticed more, they should always have a demo.
Yeah, I think all games. Doesn't matter if it's independent, AAA, AA, always should have some sort of demo.
Because if you're not showing me a demo, I already know what's going to happen.
Right. Like here, perfect example, Tunic, made by one guy, put a demo out. I played it. I was like, I'm buying that shit. Fantastic game, right?
If you've not, and by the way, if you guys never played Tunic, you guys should play Tunic.
Yeah, it's fantastic, right?
That's a guy who grew up playing video games and wanted to make his own game and then followed through.
Here's another great example. Game Pass in general, right? If you you know what, let me take Game Pass out of it. Any subscription service that has new games on it, if it's Ubisoft Plus, EA Play, Game Pass, where they have brand new games that you can try for a small fee, 100% it's a great value for that purpose because you can try the game out, and if you like it and you want to own it, you can buy it. If not, you can just play it on that service, and I think that's a good way as well. It's just like back in the day, you rent a game from Blockbuster or from a Redbox or GameFly, try it out, like it, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna purchase it. It makes sense. So yeah, I think they all should have demos.
What amazes me is Tunic's one dude.
Yeah. And like Cuphead, that's two guys. You know what I mean? Like
one dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what one dude can do. See, that's what it was back in the day. Somebody busting their ass. You put a studio together of like 20 people, they bust their ass and they make a great game. Now we have hundreds of people making a game.
Right. Next question. Krebsy says, what do you like to see in Hogwarts Legacy 2 besides co-op, new locations, and from 5th year to 6th?
Co-op.
Yeah, he says besides co-op.
Besides co-op, I know.
I said it earlier. I think it would be cool if they did a thing where, sort of like what Destiny did, or one of these other games where they have like the hub, sort of like Division or Destiny, where in Hogwarts Legacy itself, it's like a hub where it's not really co-op, but it's like a multi-world where you can talk to and see other people, and maybe you can go to their dorm room or rooms to see how they decorate it and the stuff that they do in the world. I think that might be cool, where it doesn't mean it's a online game constantly, but it would be cool if that was a hub in Hogwarts 2, or if they added Quidditch inside the actual thing as a game mode inside Hogwarts 2 itself. So like you can enter the castle, and within the castle you can go play the game. I think that'd be interesting.
I would like to see an unadvertised sub game inside the game. Like if you wanted to be an asshole, like you chose Slytherin and you start going down a dark path,
right?
And then you end up going to Azkaban, and all of a sudden the game branches off, and now you're doing all the things that a person who's got evil thoughts or selfish thoughts in the game.
So it's like separate.
Instead of being part of all the goody two shoes stuff,
like dark side, good side,
you become the dark side, but you don't know what's in the game. You only know it because you keep picking darker and darker stuff, and so the game keeps putting you further and further that direction. That would be cool.
Well, that's sort of like a Nemesis system, which is owned by WB, which they could have done. Yeah.
I just want to see something fresh. Like you don't advertise it. Like it's something people discover while playing the game, not because you use it as a selling point.
Right.
Like, you could be good or bad. Like you don't say it. You just have the game. Like, and by the way, it's not just I'm bad and I'm playing through the same maps. I'm talking about
no, it changes.
I'm talking about like the game changes.
Yeah.
You don't get to go to the same locations, and you don't get, when you're the good guy, you don't get to go to those locations at all. Like it's almost like a hidden game inside the game, but you don't know it's there.
That would be replayability. That would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Next one comes from Travis. He says, if it doesn't sell as much as 5, is it an instant failure? Or if it might not be as good, sell, but could still be successful?
He means GTA.
Oh, GTA 5. Okay. If it doesn't sell as much as 5, is it an instant failure? No. Failure and success for Grand Theft Auto would be like, it has to sell 12 million copies. If it doesn't sell 12 million copies, then it's a failure. But anything above that would be a success, right?
I don't know. I think in this climate,
you can't think it's going to sell 205 million. That's your expectations. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think it'll start off with a bang.
Sure.
It's gonna beat Cyberpunk's numbers. I'm pretty sure of that. What I'm saying is, it's not gonna be as big long term as.
No, I agree with that. I can agree with that. I think right up front though, it's gonna blow out doors.
Oh, I think it'll have the record. I think it'll have the.
So their thing in their head, we wouldn't know this, Travis, but in their head, maybe they want to hit 30 million copies. but it sells 25 million copies. And they're like, well, it's underperformed, right? Even though it's 15 million more than they needed to make. You know what I mean?
Well, let's put it this way. If they're smart about it, right? If they're smart about it, if they're looking to break the record because their egos are involved, you make sure that the game releases in October so it gets the Christmas sales. Like, you don't do a February release or a May release type of thing. You want to break the record for Cyberpunk, then you make it come out during the holidays on time type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or if you have the balls, you come out the same date that Cyberpunk did. That way there's no arguments. Right? You come out when Cyberpunk did, and what was it? Was it February or was it March? I forget, when did it come out? The original. It was springtime. I think it was like
April. I think it was like April or May, something like that.
Or you come out when Cyberpunk does. That way, when everyone says you didn't break the record because you came out during Christmas and try to use all this other nonsense to say why you broke the record, you could say came out April, crushed it. Like,
right. Krebs Eat real quick says, "What about a raid?" I don't think if you're talking about Hogwarts Legacy, I don't think that fits in that game. Like a raid in that game, I mean, you could have bosses and stuff like that, but I just don't think you put a raid. Raids in any game is such a small niche part of the player base that plays raids.
I mean, you could have it as a thing where you pick up NPCs and go into a thing.
Sure. But the problem with raids is people's timing with other people. That's why
I agree. All I'm saying is you can find out, you can discover there's a raid, and you pick NPC guys to go in with you.
Next question comes from Krebsy. Says, with Zelnick saying Borderlands movie failed helped game sales, do you think Outlaws helped Star Wars or Concord would help Secret Level? I do. I just think Concord was so bad it didn't get to the point where it was selling. I think Concord had bigger plans. I think Sony had bigger plans for Concord. I think Concord was supposed to sell the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think Concord was supposed to get sales for Secret Level because there was a report that they put the cart before the horse with Concord. They had plans for like a television show and a comic book series and an animated show and all this stuff for Concord. And Concord came out and it literally just went boom. It just fell flat on its fucking face. If it was a Looney Tune cartoon, it'd be the safe falling on the coyote's head. Like he didn't do anything, right? So I do believe that it was supposed to be that thing to help make sales for the other things, but it didn't happen. What do you think, Sarge?
I agree with most of what you said. I just think that once again they relied too much on doing a copy pasta version of a hero shooter that they assumed was going to do well. Right? Now, I still believe that they get discounts because of how they made the game. And I think that the amount of money that they lost apparently doesn't mean as much to them because they're still trying to float it.
Well, the problem is you don't tell us what's popular. We tell you what's popular. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they don't believe that anymore.
Right.
They think they can control it from the beginning.
They think that we made something, so it's automatically going to be popular. That's not how that works, right? I said this a couple weeks ago, you don't give yourself a nickname. Other people give you a nickname, right? You can make up a nickname. You're like, you call me Captain Cool. In fact, we're not calling you that, buddy. Right? Like, you don't give yourself a nickname. You don't tell us what game is going to be popular and how successful it's going to be. We, the customer, because you make a game and sell a game, we tell you, hey, this is a good game. We really like this game. Boom. It starts to explode. It starts to get, and then once it's successful, then you can start going, oh, you know what? This game is so successful, let's make a TV series. And when the TV series is successful, you go, you know what, let's make some toy sales for it. No, they're like, we got this and this and this and this. And it comes out and it falls flat on its face. It's now changed to, if a game fails, it's been concorded, okay? And every time it's not concorded, it's been vagoted, and now it's... If you want to be concorded, I got to fix that because it's going to be Concord from now on, okay? If you want to be concorded, then it's concorded, okay? But that's what it is, okay? Next one, Travis. If you had to choose between X-Men style Hogwarts Legacy or Star Wars, but Hogwarts Legacy, which appeals to you both more? Both. Well, since Outlaws is sort of like what you're saying, I would rather see the X-Men style. Like, I see an X-Men style game like Marvel's what's the one I just played? I can't even think of it now. My brain. Midnight Suns. I can see an X-Men style game like Midnight Suns, but I would rather have a Star Wars like Hogwarts Legacy than X-Men.
And that play style, you're talking about that play style, right?
Well, just like the open world type of. I'm assuming that's what he means, like the open world type of stuff.
But the way that the game is structured, the spell system is what it is. I think I'd probably go outside with the X-Men rather than a Star Wars in that game set, in the way that game is made. Because Star Wars has to hit differently. It has to. I don't know what to tell you. There have been so many Star Wars games that lead into what the vision of what a Star Wars game should be. And I'll be honest, if you slapped the Star Wars skin onto Star Citizen, I think that we'd be all done. That'd be fine.
Right.
You know, we'd be done. That'd be it.
That's all you need.
But the way that the Hogwarts is structured, it wouldn't give Star Wars what it needed. It'd be a fun game.
Well, they are making a Harry Potter.
X-Men would be better for that version.
I think they're making a Hogwarts, or not a Hogwarts, but a Harry Potter MMO. I think that would be huge if they do it correctly. Right. Super chat comes in from Akuta Papa, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. It says problem with Sony is that they think their name means something when it really doesn't expect to the fanboys. Yeah, I can see what I can see what you're saying there. Like it holds weight against the people that love Sony, but it doesn't hold weight against people that are like, okay, it's Sony.
But even Sony fanboys know that if they just took the character IP from their own company and made it into a Concord game, it would have done better. Right? Even they know that. Like, you take all the IPs that Sony has and put them into a hero shooter, it would have done better. Better than Concord, the way it came out, for sure.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't ever know you could comment on someone's super chat. That's interesting. Next question comes from Travis. Says, speaking of games that are just fun, Dark Tide good in that aspect. I hear good things, but it needs more content. Your thoughts or opinions?
You're talking about the 40K Dark Tide?
Yeah, the Dark Tide.
I played it for 3 months. Nobody else wanted to play with me, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah, I played it with him for a week, and then I stopped.
Right,
yeah.
I have all my characters leveled up, and nobody wanted to play. So I'm like, all right, there's no point to have this game anymore because everyone talks a good game, but no one wants to play it.
Yeah. So do you think it should have more content?
I mean, what's more content, right? It's every time they make one of those games, it's a slice of the 40K universe. It's a slice. And so you can only play that kind of team-based thing for a while because it doesn't have a progressive story. It just goes through the motions, like the set missions. They tell us kind of like a story, but not really. It's all about grinding and leveling up your guy, right? I mean, it's basically Left 4 Dead with 40K.
Yeah,
that's what it is, right? That's what that game is. I mean, it's fun. I'm not going to say it's not fun, but I don't think it has longevity. That's why they keep making a new one, right? Vermintide, Dark Tide. What was the other one? There was a third one in there.
Riptide. No, I'm kidding.
No, Riptide was an 80s show.
Yeah. Dark Tide, Riptide, Vermintide. Yeah. Which one of those is fake? Okay, next one is also by Travis. Do you think that we could all never get these people to realize it or not without restructuring the entire industry? As far as
they're greedy.
Yeah.
They're greedy. That's it, man. They run listen, go back in time. Do yourselves a favor, right? I know homework, no one likes homework. But go look at the gaming industry, like the actual numbers. You could just go on Google and go look at all the numbers you want. Look at the gaming industry in the late 90s, right? Look how much money the gaming industry made and then follow it year after year. Once it started doing this, right, and everyone started realizing, hey, we can make a shit ton of money and we make some video games, right?
Yeah.
That's when all the trash started and all the bullshit started. And then because they were doing this, right, they were like, well, we got to maintain this. How do we do this? Sprinkle in the horse armor. That's how that started because you got to maintain.
Oh, there's a little dip, horse armor.
Yeah,
little dip, season pass. Yeah.
Once they started making more money than the NFL, everybody wanted to make a studio. It's very simple. They got greedy. It happens every time in every industry. Only nerds play video games. Only stuck-up people play video games. Only people who want to sit in their house and be by themselves all the time play video games. fucking nerds. Like, no one likes video games. Right. No one likes video games. Right. Click, click. 2 decades later, largest entertainment in the fucking planet. Okay.
Right.
It makes more movies. It makes more money than movies, music, and television combined. Hi, we're the nerds. We're here to make some money. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Last question. I'm not going to take that question, Travis. I turned off the thing at the bottom, so I'm not going to take that one. But Krebsy's last question is, do you think Pete Carson is looking for a turkey car for Thanksgiving? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
He could be. Who knows what Pete Carson's up to? He didn't make an appearance this week, so.
It just annoys the shit out of me that no one liked us anyway when we play video games. Now it's the most profitable industry on the fucking planet. It boggles the mind.
See, it's even worse than that, Sarge. You loved video games, and now they're trying to kick you out of the thing that you loved. Right? You got picked on and ridiculed when you were a kid for playing video games, and now you're an adult, and people came into the industry, and now you're being ridiculed and stuff because you like video games.
I like video
fucking
games.
Nerd, you misogynistic pig. Right? It's like, what? I just want to play my fucking games, man. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to be preached to. I just want to play video games, man. Right? And that's the way it is. Yeah. You're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. You got picked on when you were younger, and you get picked on again when you're older playing the same video game. We still stayed in our lane. We just stayed in the lane.
It's too long of a rant. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
Yeah. No, the show's over, so you could.
Nope.
No? All right.
Nope.
So that'll do it for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. Episode 417 is in the can. We do appreciate you watching and listening. If you like it, hit that like button. I would like it if you hit that like button. If you don't like to hit the like button, you can hit the dislike button, but nobody sees that. So what's the point? You might as well just hit the like button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. It helps us out here. And hit the subscribe button so you can see our other content that we do. We do uploads, live streams, podcasts, gameplay. Tomorrow morning, I do not know yet if I'm going to do a members stream chat, or I should say members stream chat, yeah, because on Fridays when I do the stream, it's members only in chat, but anyone can watch. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live tomorrow, and if I do go live, I'm not sure if I'm just going to cover a couple videos or if I'm going to cover or play some video games. But stay tuned tomorrow. I'll let you guys know if I want to go live or not. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Game on, guys.
And end stream.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.